741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. To the extras that are lining up over on YouTube, to everybody that's jumping in on the app and at 1063 FM 1230 AM, we wish you a good morning, and to Front Office Los too.
You know that extra YouTube channel, sometimes it's intrusive because I do have my dad who checks in.
Oh, okay.
Right around like in the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour.
Okay, all right.
Just to see what we're up to.
Yeah, all right.
And yesterday he was like, well, where are you? And I was like, well, I had this event with North Forsyth. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a text message.
Yeah.
Like from a parent. Like I'm not a grown-ass man.
Seriously, Dad. Don't worry about me. I'm good.
It's just, that's what he uses.
I love it.
Yeah, he's not even an extra.
He's just a spy.
He just checks in just to see what's going on.
Freaking, he's over there looking around. He's got binoculars trying to figure out where we are.
I mean, I've gotten used to it. When we first launched and had the cameras in the studio, they were first put into our sister station down the hall with the fan. And I remember the awkwardness of every time, like product placement. Like right now, you got a Freebird.
Yeah, man.
Good to go.
Good stuff. Buddy.
No problem. There was the big push of, I think at the time we were a Monster energy drink station.
Okay.
So you didn't want to have anything else out there.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you ever had to blow your nose.
Yeah.
Or if you ever just wanted to do something, like you just knew I'm on camera the whole time.
That's
I feel. Now I've just gotten used to it with you.
Yeah. It's funny because as I watched the Braves game last night before it got all out of hand.
I'm sorry you had to watch that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I checked out at 8:03. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what basically I did too. Yeah, about 9:30 maybe.
Yeah, the next shot to the wall that was bringing more guys running around. I was like, okay, we're good here.
Yeah, I think I've seen all I need to see, and sure enough, we did. But I feel like baseball players have gotten to that place because I see people doing all kinds of. Because I watch the.
No shame.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't matter. Sometimes they're picking their nose. Sometimes they're scratching their butt, just whatever.
It's just what it is.
You just accept it. And like this weird thing, Pete Alonso made a really great play the night before last. I guess when they were in Baltimore, it was the final game in Baltimore. And it was a liner, I think, off Olsen's bat, liner, and he was able to make the catch and then put the tag down at first to get a double play. And he was making all these weird faces and some gestures, and I'm like, I don't think he probably thought that was going to get on camera.
I think you're just used to it at that point.
Yeah.
They know that those cameras are going to catch everything. In this case, our single shot catches most things.
Yeah.
Hello, extras.
Yeah. And then back here, this feller back here, whatever that one does.
That one doesn't. That one's only for guests.
Yeah, that one's a guest cam.
All right, that's the guest cam. All right, so that one.
If we really wanted to get intrusive, we could just focus it on Los's screen the entire show.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah. Look at all he does is scan social media. Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
That and volleyball matches.
That's right. And clips highlights and
that's right.
Make sure parents and kids have access to whatever they need to build
I'm shopping on Amazon
for. Build their highlight reels and then getting them some orthopedic shoes or something.
That's right.
It's because he's been working so much lately.
What a mix.
I'm telling you. It's fun for everybody.
It's not as exciting as you would think.
No, definitely not. I thought about that the other day, and I think I even said it on my little country show. It was just like, there was an article about people that really want to be influencers, and I was like, man, I really don't. And I said, I don't think I got that much to say, or I'm that interested.
I saw was it Arizona State?
It is Arizona State.
Okay, Arizona State was launching a program as part of a degree program.
I think it's a major.
Yeah, to be a social media influencer, which I don't know if that falls under your mass communications. I would imagine something along those lines. I know that many of the universities these days have a new media.
Yeah, I do believe there's value in new media. Don't get me wrong, I certainly do. But a degree in being an influencer, I'm not sure that's real.
It seems a little strange, but here's my caveat to all of this. Every single one of these companies out there, big or small, wants to get better at social media.
Sure they do.
And if you have somebody in-house who can do it, that's typically part of your marketing team. That makes them a little more special than other people.
Yeah, no, I get it. But with the whole I want to be an influencer, it's all about me. You're not doing anything for the company. It's all about me, me. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that if you can market yourself, the idea is you can then hopefully market
help
market to think about our growth when we have good sweet Andrew Groover and the work that he's done, and people we've had in the past that have taken that another step to where now we're actually on YouTube on a regular basis.
No, that's exactly right.
This is part of the evolution of what we do.
And Andrew came over from NFL Network.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
pretty serious gig.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, we got some fancy people around here. I wonder if he got his degree in social media or a degree in being an influencer.
I'm going to go ask him.
Yeah.
I'm going to look him up on LinkedIn.
Dude,
I'll get intrusive myself.
Yeah, absolutely right, since we're looking at things and looking for things. But yeah, it was good to have Acuna back, even though they got their tail kicked last night. He did take a shot on a foul ball off the knee, which you're like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Game one, he's going to be back out, and he shook it off and it was fine. But anytime you see Acuna out there, you're like, dude, put him in some sort of device to keep him from getting hurt.
I had talked about it on our sister station one of the last times I was on. I said, if you can get used to the fact that he's going to play, and I said at the time 140 games. All right.
Back that off a little bit.
Back that off. He might be 120 games a year.
That sounds more correct. Yeah.
You're going to miss 40 games over stuff. And at that point, it really makes it hard to justify what these numbers are going to in terms of like a $40 million a year player. But he's that great when he's healthy.
I know he is.
It's just the problem is being healthy.
Keeping him healthy is otherworldly. It doesn't even seem like it's a possibility most times.
Unfortunately, not a major in social media for Mr. Groover.
Oh, it was not.
It was not. It was a BA in Communications and Information Sciences Media Production.
Okay. All right. So he's rolled that into when he got here, I don't think, he was like, no, I want to produce big projects. I want to, create, great content.
Sure.
I don't even know that he really was a social media guy at all. I feel like I remember him talking about that a little bit and has adapted what he does to include that.
I just look at it as if you can market yourself, you can probably market other things.
No, that's definitely right.
And I'm big when it comes to my 15-year-old. What she's doing is, marketing herself as a potential collegiate athlete, and then you get the interest from there. And hopefully down the road, that ends up becoming a portion of her job whenever she has to start working. That's another weird situation to have. We went to dinner Friday night, and we were at this local restaurant. The manager came over and just handed her an application. Just said, here.
Okay.
She's like, I love your hair. Here.
There we go. All right.
I told him, I was like, she's got a season to play.
Yeah.
She's got a spring season to play. And I was like, but next summer.
Yeah, you can't ever tell.
Hand her on over to you.
For sure.
Wouldn't mind the 16-year-old working over just down the street.
Absolutely.
Not a bad idea.
Have a safe spot to go, not far from home.
Jobs, man. That's what we're getting to with some of these kids.
Dude, I'm telling you. I mean, it's like my son, he decided not to play this summer just to let his body heal. And did the internship here and then coached and has been coaching. They just
coaching
finished
ball.
They just finished their season last weekend. But has been coaching all and made a pretty good little lick. I was actually really impressed
for him.
Yeah, with the amount of money he was able to make coaching, because they would have him. He kind of had a set salary, if you will, for coaching the 15U team. He was the assistant coach over there. But then they were like, "Hey, we got a coach out for the 11U. Can you go fill in there?" And hey, we've got a big event that we want to do a showcase, and we're filming, and can you help, us conduct that?
Cha-ching.
And they would, exactly.
Cha-ching.
He actually walked away. I was relatively surprised at how much. So the point being is they can make
some
a
money.
little lick.
They can make a little bit of money.
And dude, it's interesting to see him want to and kind of be like, I don't want to live off mom and dad's dime for the rest of my life.
Sure.
Seeing that evolution, even though we're still paying for a whole lot, seeing that evolution is good.
Well, you haven't thrown him completely out of the nest, but he's flapping the wings.
That's right, absolutely right. Now it's ugly.
Yeah.
The wing flapping is not. It's not.
we're not talking about some apartment in Midtown. Okay, we're not there yet.
But he's trying to get him going. He's trying. I'm just glad that he did and has. That's always good.
Can I admit to you my my one thing that I did last night that I probably shouldn't have, and that it put me in a dark place.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, yeah.
This is the long tease as well. We're going to get into more of this at 7 o'clock. After the Braves were stomped,
Yeah.
I decided to spend more time with that diary.
Whew, Lord. Dude, he comes off as a serial killer.
The Fauci diary.
I'm not kidding. I really thought that. I was like, it's that kind of mindset.
The further I get into it, and it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I think I don't partake in things, especially at night, that are going to make me angry.
Well, yeah, because then you can't sleep, and then you wrestle with it, and then you want to go back and read more of it.
I got up this morning, I was still mad.
Yeah, understandable.
And we'll get into a lot more of this.
Understandable, dude.
But it was one of those where going to bed at night, I was like, you know what? I maybe had gotten 20 pages into this, on Sunday night, Monday morning. It's like, I'm going to do some more. I just want to read more. I want to make... First, again, it's a lot. The next part is, I've said that I hate two things in this world. I hate cancer, I hate terrorism.
About to add a third.
It's not very becoming to hate someone, an individual. I think I hate him.
It's hard not to, man.
I think I legitimately hate that man.
It is hard not to. He testifies tomorrow, I believe, doesn't
Yes.
he? Yeah. Dude, a guy that has such an ego and did everything through that filter of his ego. Everything. There was nothing he did in the best interest of science.
It's evil, so much of it. And to go through the internal thoughts of what he was saying to the public versus what he was writing down privately. And I believe that as he's keeping his dear diary, like some sort of high school girl,
I wondered the same thing. I was like, what dude that age keeps a diary?
It's not a young man.
No, yeah.
Okay? It's strange. It's odd. You have to be either in love with yourself,
Yes.
your power, your,
Yes.
as I said, megalomaniac,
Yes.
sociopath.
Yes.
At the same time, I think he firmly believed his hero status that, well, I need to write all this stuff down because there's going to be books about me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down in history as a great.
Yeah, well, I think now now that we have that diary, he's going to go down in history everything but great. If people hear it, that's the thing. People that listen to this show will hear it, and there's a handful of media outlets that are talking about it, but the majority are not. The mainstream outlets are not running with it. ABC,
no
CBS,
one's touching it.
Nobody's touching it, and I'm hoping that Bari Weiss is not going to just sit on her hands with this at CBS. They basically called her the Antichrist over there, and I'm hoping that she's not going to allow that newsroom to be what it traditionally has been, a cover outfit for Dr. Fauci and people like him.
I ended up putting a post on X last night, and it was of I think it's like a high school band hall. And they're all in individual pods.
I saw that, the green things.
The green pod.
That one right there.
Right.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Yeah, I see it's on your screen right now.
And this is what I put out here before I went to bed, as I've just decided I've had it. I'm going to bed. And I put out, if his fate was on pay-per-view, I'd pay $1,000.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, I didn't say what the fate needs to be, but if it's on pay-per-view,
yeah, it's got to be something strong.
I'd pay to watch it.
Yeah, it's got to be something strong.
And you're not supposed to feel that way about anyone.
But dude, I agree with you.
But if someone kind of seems like they deserve it.
Yeah, because I do believe the good book talks about when you commit a crime and then the punishment for it. That's just the logic, the way that we've always lived by. And he won't face anything. Like the testimony tomorrow, nothing's going to come out of there. And just like him, Joe Biden, with all the new audio recordings, Robert Hur knew that he should have been punished. Like the $8 million bonus that they gave him for the book. They could have gone after that. They could have punished him, but they didn't and won't.
All right, I'm gonna call a timeout.
Yeah.
We'll get into more in this 7 o'clock hour. That way you don't get my blood pressure has been totally chill.
That's right, absolutely. Them shoulders are burning though.
Okay, yeah, the painting and everything, I'm hurting. But I typically feel like I go about this and I can take off the helmet and put it down.
And not let emotion.
Put my shield down and go about my business. Last night, I could not do that. I was driving here and all I could think of was, if I could spend hours railing against one man, there's only one I could, and it's not the president.
Yeah. No, it is.
It is
Dr. Tony Fauci.
Okay, 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna pause.
Yeah, no,
we got some other stuff to get to.
No, yeah, it's fine, man. I tell you.
Can I ask you a question that you can ponder? What's been your favorite thing you've read so far?
There is no favorite thing.
Well, like, what's been the thing that's been just most, like, surprising or jaw-dropping?
7 o'clock hour.
So
7 o'clock hour, I have something that I have posted myself, and to see that in his internal diary and to know you knew what I knew.
You knew it the whole time.
And yet you were lying.
The one that blew up yesterday, and it was a side-by-side, it was his diary talking about how he spoke to Andrew Cuomo in New York and told him he need to shut the schools down. And then he spoke with the chief of staff for Gavin Newsom and said we need to shut down out there, and both of them would listen to him because, you know, he was so smart and everything. And then he went on national television, I believe ABC, and said, no, I never told them that they had to shut the schools down, yet his diary said that exact same. That exact thing.
I have a post from March of 2020.
Yeah.
So right in the middle of this thing, and I will share it with you.
Okay, there you go.
That the math in March of 2020, I was posting about it, and that man knew it too.
And he was writing it in his diary the exact same way.
Yeah.
6 o'clock hour brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, the Dems love socialism, but they're kind of in a boat alone. Next on Extra.
Safe streets in Atlanta shouldn't be a luxury, but it's your vote that will make the difference. Real talk about real neighborhoods without the excuses. Only on Atlanta's conservative voice. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Purple Wave Auction Box.
Hey there, folks. If you're buying or selling equipment, ride the wave.
Ride the wave. Purple Wave Auction makes it easy to sell.
Easy to buy. Construction, ag, fleet, and government equipment. All no reserve. All online.
All online.
Cruise on over to purplewave.com and get in the groove today.
Purplewave.com.
You've tried it all. You've counted sheep, warm glasses of milk, even those weird meditation apps. But now it's time to stop trying and start sleeping. Z-Factor from Relief Factor. It offers a real solution for sleepless nights. It goes beyond melatonin and uses a combination of 4 natural ingredients. It helps relax your mind so you can fall asleep quicker and then helps you sleep soundly through the night. Z-Factor, 100% drug-free, so it's safe to take regularly. Plus, there's no groggy feeling when you wake up. Z-Factor, it's from Relief Factor, so you can count on the science behind it. Tanya and I both take Z-Factor every night. It's on our bedside table. If you're looking for better Z's, give Z-Factor a try. Right now, pay only $19.95 for a 30-day supply. 46% savings. Call 1-800-4RELIEF. 800, the number 4RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com. Better sleep without drugs. See how Z-Factor can get you the Z's you want. 800-4RELIEF. ReliefFactor.com.
Fox on Tech.
Selling your stuff on social media has become such a big deal that Meta wants in. The Mark Zuckerberg company announces yet another service as part of its platform that it hopes will allow users to sell more of their stuff. It's simply called Seller and has a standalone app. It syncs directly with existing Facebook Marketplace accounts, but it is also designed to make casual selling of one's personal items a bit easier and a bit easier to promote. Just like in other apps such as Poshmark or Etsy, just to name a couple. Seller will also be powered by Meta's AI, which can help with product descriptions and pricing with the aim of products getting listed for sale much more quickly. The service will also group inbox messages so sellers can more easily communicate with potential buyers. Meta Seller apps are already available for both Apple's iOS and for Android. Web-based versions are coming soon. With Fox on Tech, I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
Fox Facts.
As temperatures rise and lighter meals return to lunch menus, here's the story behind one of America's most popular salads. The Cobb salad wasn't named after an ingredient, it was named after a person. Back in the 1930s, Robert Cobb owned Hollywood's famous Brown Derby restaurant, a hotspot for movie stars. According to the story, Cobb was working late one night and got hungry. He started rummaging through the fridge, grabbing whatever leftovers he could find: lettuce, bacon, chicken, hard-boiled eggs, tomatoes, cheese, and avocado. He chopped everything together, tossed it with dressing, and made himself a meal. The next day, he made it again for a friend who loved it. Soon, other customers started asking for the same combo, and before long, it became a permanent menu item. Nearly a century later, the Cobb salad is still on menus across America, thanks to a restaurant owner who got the late-night munchies. Matt Murphy, Fox News.
This is House Call for Health. July is Sarcoma and Bone Cancer Awareness Month. The American Association for Cancer Research describes sarcomas as a rare group of cancers in which malignant cells form in the bones or soft tissues of the body. Soft tissue sarcomas can form in many parts of the body, including tendons, muscle, fat, cartilage, nerves, and around joints. And about 22% of bone and joint cancer cases are diagnosed in people under the age of 20. Soft tissue cancers are more likely to be found in those older than 55. The challenges of sarcoma patients is the theme this year for the Sarcoma Patient Advocacy Global Network, noting sarcoma is not one disease, it's more than 100 rare cancer subtypes that impact people of all ages and quite often come with initial symptoms that seem harmless. The network says they have one message that connects them all: you are not alone. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, July 28th, and here are your headlines. Newly released diary entries from Dr. Anthony Fauci deal to frequent communications with several prominent journalists during the COVID-19 pandemic. The entries released by Senator Rand Paul describe Fauci's interaction with CNN's Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, NBC's Chuck Todd, and ABC's George Stephanopoulos, including media strategy discussions as well as personal meetings. With 100 days to go until the midterm elections, both parties are continuing to ramp up their campaigns here in Georgia and across the nation for control of Congress. Democrats need to gain 3 House seats and 4 Senate seats, with a new Washington Post poll showing Democrats holding a 3-point lead on the generic congressional ballot. And finally, gas prices continue to climb across Metro Atlanta. AAA says the average price is now up to $3.92 a gallon, up 15% from just last week and more than 35 cents higher than a month ago, with Fulton County topping the metro area at just over an average of $4 a gallon. It'll be partly cloudy, hot and humid today with a high of 94 and a low of 76. Your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10. Grateful you're here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. If you watched the news this weekend or you scrolled through social media, you probably saw socialists, communists celebrating all over the place. Just talking about how much momentum they have. Some of them would say, well, you only hear them calling us communists because of all the successes and all the momentum we have, giving power to the people and such as that. Little do they know, power is definitely not going to the people with socialism and communism.
That's not how that works.
That's not how it works. Socialism is for you, not them. Let's go by the numbers and help you understand what they're not telling you.
But I'll be all right as long as there's light from a math dude. Most people don't like math, they run from the sun.
And if you know anything about me, you know I run from the sun most of the time too. But this was so easy that even I could understand it. Even a layman like me could figure this one out. And it came from NBC when they admitted that, the Democrats are going to need independents when it comes to the election and getting elected in the midterms. Problem is, independents don't like the way they're headed.
socialists winning Democratic primaries, candidates from the far left. And look at this here. Among Democrats, this is that Fox poll, a majority have a favorable view of socialism. Step outside the Democratic Party, it's a totally different world. Look at independence, socialism, deeply unpopular there. So is that a vulnerability for Democrats that would keep them from capitalizing on Trump's obvious weaknesses here?
Yeah, I'm thinking the answer is probably yes. Who's going to be like, oh, I know they're socialists and I have no fondness for socialism, a.k.a. communism, but I think I'll vote for them anyway. I don't think that's the way it works, Los.
I really feel good about my political instincts on this because we hadn't seen polling yet that kind of determined where this was going. We knew that when it came to the Democrats and their own polling that this is how they viewed things. But I was like, okay, where are the independents? Because that's what everyone's fighting for. Where are the independents?
Yep.
And what that polling will show you is another one that's damn near an 80-20 issue. Independents have polled as high as 77%, having an unfavorability towards socialism and communism.
Right. Yes, that's exactly right. You know, the thing is, independents, they don't get sucked in with all the, all the good campaign promises and ads. They look at what has happened in the past with socialism. And it's an economic theory that has never worked anywhere it's been tried. And, they give you the whole, it's going to be utopia, everything's free. I don't know if you saw over the weekend in Chicago, they were running these government operated grocery stores. Guess what all of them are doing? Closing because they're not sustainable, even though they're supposed to be free. How can free not be sustainable? Because somebody's got to pay for it.
There has to be some sort of method of production, payment, everything else.
Yeah.
Free is the end of the line where you go, wait a minute, here's where the math doesn't work.
That's right. And so these people were in a panic in Chicago. They're like, well, all the regular big chains have all closed in this area. The only thing we have is this government-ran grocery store. Buddy, you better be getting yourself a bus ticket or something. Because these can't sustain themselves. I don't know who told you that was going to work, but they clearly didn't know what they're talking about. And you're seeing it in New York with the free bus, the free bus fares, Los, that never became real. That's what the old boy Mom Donnie ran on, telling everybody how everything's going to be free, and none of that stuff has ever materialized either. It's not a good situation. It's not a good scenario. Nothing good is happening with socialism and communism.
There's always this connotation that happens with people that fall for this stuff where they believe that there's some sort of magic bag of money somewhere.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
You know what? The government's holding on to this magic bag of money. And now that if I can only get a hold of it, especially when it's locally, if you go talk to anybody who sits on a school board, they'll tell you, how strained the amount of money is and what they have to plan for if they want to have a project, how it has to it's not like they're sitting back going, you know what, in reserve, we have $80 million. We're just deciding what we're going to do with it. It's just not.
We don't let you know about it.
It's just not how things work. And so to hear that, the city of Chicago has been spending as much as $17 million in order to make sure that these stores are available, yet now they're all closing because $17 million wasn't enough when no one's paying for stuff.
Yeah. And when you think they couldn't get any more ridiculous, they do, Los, because you have the co-chair of the DSA go on to the nightly news and say all kinds of crazy things. We've already been through some of these that people have said them in random places about what they would like to do if they ever get in charge. It ain't good for America.
I need to give credit where credit is due. Now, this is from Jesse Signal, Singal, co-host of the Bar Pod. Okay? He had a post, and he included the video from Megan Romer. Now, Megan Romer is the co-chair of the DSA. And here was his hypothetical situation. Here's his quotes. Hey, Ms. Romer, it's John Bailey. I'm a producer at Fox News Sunday. Any interest in coming on this week? I don't know. What will we discuss? We'd like your help recording a campaign ad for every Republican candidate in every election for free.
That's right. Oh, yes. Count me in. Yes, please. I'd love to be there.
That is what was created. And I mean, even in my show notes, before I even got a chance to see that last night, all I could think of was, just let these people keep talking. I think there's a fascination. Fox News is doing it to give you the example of, look, these people exist. I think CNN, because they've brought them on, I think MS Now has brought them on as of a curiosity factor of, how do you expect this to work? And every single time they leave, you kind of have these people looking around like, well, that ain't going to work.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when your kid's like 3 or 4 years old, and they come up and tell you, hey, we need to get this, that, or the other thing. Well, how do you expect to do that? And then they give you this long fairy tale about how things, we'll just do this, that, the other. It's like children. It's like talking to children when you're trying to help them make sense of what it is that they want to do, and they don't make sense of it, and they can't accept that. No, we can't have ice cream for dinner and breakfast and lunch. You can't do all these things. And yet, the DSAers are like, well, yes, we can.
Well, Tug, you and I as parents have known this for years. There are times when you tell your child about what's going to happen. There are times you don't. For instance, if your child was to say, hey, Dad, are we going to do this? You might say, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, maybe. Yeah, we'll see if we can.
Yeah.
Now, that answer's probably no.
Yeah, right. Okay? But it's a soft no.
It's a soft no. Here's what I keep going back to. These people are children in that the creative and good politicians have had the exact same views as anyone within the DSA. They just don't say it ever.
Yeah.
Yet the DSA feels comfortable. They for some reason
they have
feel
momentum.
They believe they have some sort of momentum. They're about to crater the midterms for the Democrats as long as this continues. This is the October surprise. Outside of October, here's Megan Romer, and this is where she's asked directly on Fox News, is this your platform? Is this what you agree with?
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate. True. Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them. Yep. Abolish ICE. Absolutely. Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally. As a long-term plan, yep. Defund the Pentagon. Absolutely. Abolish prisons, at least in large part. Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah. Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. And Shannon Bream is just sitting it on the tee, dude.
Yeah.
And this woman can't wait to hit it over the fence. In her own mind, she's hitting it over the fence. Little does she know she's actually swinging and missing. She has no idea.
Again, Tug has the numbers for you. You have independents.
77%.
Yes. That are saying, not interested in any of this stuff. And let's point out and the reason why Shannon Bream leads with getting rid of the Senate. Because if you have gone through the history of this country, part of the way we were able to put together the Constitution rather than having the Articles of Confederation, granted, it is about state representation, but the idea that every state has 2 senators no matter its size gives an equal footing to every single state.
That's right.
In that house. Every single state has equal power, whether you're Vermont or California, whether you're Texas or Alabama. You have the exact same power within that chamber. And that's the first thing they're talking about getting rid of.
Of course.
Which is the destruction, basically, of the country. Without saying rewrite the Constitution, get rid of the Constitution, that's what that is.
But I do feel like if Shannon Bream would have said, do you want to get rid of the Constitution? She'd be like, yeah, we do. Yeah. We absolutely do. I wish you would have asked that question, because I know the answer is yes. They don't run from that either. No. They're telling you, here's what we want to do. Now,
yes, ma'am. Yes, twice on Sunday.
Absolutely. Dude, and said it with such certainty and almost a bit of a smirk. Yes. Yep. Almost like a used car salesman a little bit. Yep. That's exactly what we want to do. Yep. It's going to be great for you. Yep. Perfect.
I know that Democrats, oftentimes they wait for their programming. Like, what am I supposed to be mad at today? What am I energetic about? I wonder which ones. Now, let me point this out. Liberal John doesn't go with any of that stuff. Liberal John just kind of has his own mindset. Here's what he's going to do. But for those that are the Aunt Pegs of the world, or the weirdos that follow me on X. They wait for for instance, we haven't complained about the Epstein files in like a month. Okay, that'll be back when something happens. Like, hey guys, get in the Epstein files again. It's cyclical, right?
Yep.
So when are they going to actually start talking about how this is the best way to push the country forward? Because that'll be the one that they're told for the time being. Well, at least from certain factions of the Democrat Party. And Democrat Party as a whole, I don't think they know whether or not to tell people to endorse this stuff or shut up.
They don't. 100% they don't. Even the ones that I think are, just kind of loosely like, yeah, we're a big tent. You can see the question mark above their head. They don't know whether this is a good thing or not. And you and I and anybody listening right now knows the answer. No, it's not a good thing. Your party is saying we want to destroy the United States. We just said it on a worldwide platform in Fox News. We just told you what we want to do. We want to destroy the United States. Who's going to volunteer for that? Who's signing up for that? I mean, I guess the 20%, but that leaves the 80 going, nah, we're good. There's not a Republican going, yeah, I'm signing up for that.
Sounds like they have some decent ideas.
Yeah, it's like I had a guy that emails me all the time, and he's like a flag in the wind. One day Trump's the greatest president he's ever seen. The next day Trump's the worst president he's ever seen. He sent me an email this weekend that said, I regret my vote for Trump. And he, went on and listed all the reasons, whatever. And I just responded back, yeah, man, you should have voted for Kamala. And that set him off. I can say that I don't like, that's not what you said. You didn't say I didn't like this, that, or the other thing. You said I regret my vote. If you didn't vote for Trump, who would you have voted for? There was only one other option.
And that's the whole conundrum of the two-party system.
Exactly, dude. And it's just like, you're like a flag just flopping in the wind. You change based on what Tucker Carlson tells you to think. Or you change based on Fox News says. Or maybe, who knows, MS Now. I don't know how you change so rapidly. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything the president does every second of every day. But for every day to have your emotions swing that far means you're unstable, means that you are at the whims of somebody else and not yourself.
Well, you're being led around by your nose.
That's exactly right. Such a good way of putting it. It's exactly right. Every day the dude emails me. Every day, dude. And it's the same crap. One day he's the greatest president he's ever seen. The next day, the worst president he's ever seen.
I think it's got to be nice for Tug, now that he works with a sane person, because the one funny thing that Tug will look at me and be like, hey, you said that like 3 years ago. I'm like, yep, haven't changed.
Yeah, right, exactly.
like you know what you're going to get?
Yes.
I've got, when it comes to me, I've set my conditions by which if this happens, my feelings would change about this matter. For instance, I've talked about it with Iran. I have no problem with what's going on. Do I have a problem with boots on the ground? Yeah, if we ever get to that point, we're going to have a different discussion. Until that happens, this is part operationally of what we have to do in a region of the world in order for them not to try and kill our president or develop a nuclear weapon. It's really simple. That's the adult version of this thing.
Easy to understand when it's laid out so concisely. The 6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, Kamala is running in 2028, says one Dem insider, next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, July 28th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the opening game of their 3-game series in New York to the Mets last night. 14-3, the final. Some good news, Ronald Acuna Jr. did have a hit in his return to the lineup from the injured list. As for tonight, it'll be Chris Sale on the mound against Christian Scott. First pitch is set for 7:10. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Atlanta Falcons training camp begins today as the veterans will report to the team. The rookies reported to Flowery Branch last week. Full practices open to the public will begin this Friday. Around the league, Tampa Bay Buccaneer defensive tackle Vita Vea is requesting a trade from the team after contract talks stalled over the weekend for the two-time Pro Bowler. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
There's a lot riding on every digging project. You want it done and over with. And the utility companies want their underground lines untouched and intact. Georgia 811 helps connect the dots. If you're digging, submit your ticket to us at least 3 business days before the project starts. We'll notify our utility members, and they'll send locators to mark their lines at your site. Georgia 811, connecting the dots for safe digging.
Sponsored by Georgia 811.
This is Tom, the Honest Car Guy, and I'm here with Ron. And I'll let Ron tell you a little bit about his experience with us, and not only that, but the differences between a new car dealership and the Honest Car Guy, because there is a difference, with no doc fees and no addendums. It's kind of straightforward. They get to see what we pay for the car, and that's not something you get at a dealership.
Usually we're back and forth, and then you get like 1,400 pages of paper. And in this case, we did it all online. I mean, it was like, okay, I don't mind doing paperwork once I know that this is the deal.
And you got to see the financing, the numbers
up
see
all
front
of it
before you even bought it. You can make that call, and within hours, we can find you the car you want from your home. I mean, I had a customer call me and say, hey, I bought a car in my pajamas.
If I'd have had some, I'd have been wearing them.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. Late Republican South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham has a first. Congress elected to honor the late senator with a ceremony in the Capitol Rotunda, but he's not lying in state or lying in honor. That's never happened before. The reason is because Congress must open up the most public place in America, the Capitol Rotunda, so people can file past the casket. Graham's family did not want that. 35 Americans have lain in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. The last was the late President Jimmy Carter early last year. Lying in honor is a step down from lying in state. Those who have lain in state include Billy Graham and Rosa Parks. The Senate has observed the passing of other late lawmakers by having them lie in honor in the Senate chamber. Such was the case with Senate Majority Leader Robert Byrd in 2010 and Democratic New Jersey Senator Frank Lautenberg in 2013. The House has also honored the fallen on its side of the Capitol, too. The remains of late Democratic Maryland Representative Elijah Cummings and late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg laid in honor near the House chamber. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
It's July 28th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Milk Chocolate Day. From chocolate bars to many of our favorite baked goods, even as toppings on drinks, milk chocolate has been making our lives sweeter for hundreds of years. Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter is believed to have made the first successful milk chocolate in 1875, which would go on to become the first commercially sold chocolate in the world. Also on this date, in 1868, U.S. Secretary of State William Seward announced the ratification of the 14th Amendment, which granted citizenship for all former slaves. And in 1933,
happy birthday wishes to you.
The first singing telegram was delivered by a Western Union operator named Lucille Lips. She sang happy birthday to Mr. Rudy Valley. If it's your birthday today, you share it with Basketball Hall of Famer and former Senator Bill Bradley, born in 1943. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Extra.
To the left of Kennesaw on a map, if that helps.
To the left of Kennesaw, okay. Would that be west of Kennesaw, you're trying to tell me?
This way I'm pointing.
Okay, this way that I'm pointing.
I guess east and west is very difficult for people these days. It's to the left of Kennesaw.
Have you ever...
You mean to the west?
Yeah. Have you ever looked at a map before? God, man. It's to the left of Kennesaw.
Can't tell you how many times I've said that to my wife. Just go south on 400, exit, and head east. And she's like, what do you mean?
Exactly. Tell her to turn right next time.
That's right. And
right
then she'll know exactly.
No, that would not be to the right when you're heading south.
No. Fine, just let it go. I won't embarrass him anymore, man. It's not time to pile on the child. You know? Sorry, man. You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it. It's fine. Go home, talk to your daddy.
I turned right like you said. No, you didn't.
But go home and tell your daddy you don't know how to read that. And then tell me you don't know how to change a tire. And he's going to feel like the biggest disappointment ever.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. So I guess we can go ahead and write this down as if there was any confusion that Kamala Harris is running in 2028, Los.
Yeah, this word came from Andrew Yang, and he's a noted entrepreneur who pointed out that he's been hearing from people in California that she's been talking to that she intends to run in 2028. Now, you really got to go and dig into some of the numbers on this because the general polling has her by far in the lead over every other Democrat candidate. But there's also the issue when it comes to who you think should run. And when you see some of that polling, there are no Democrat candidates that are polling well.
None of you should run.
So that's the strange part. It's like in this group, who would you select?
Yeah.
Okay, who do you think should run? None of them do well. Gavin Newsom doesn't do well. AOC doesn't do well. Kamala Harris does not do well. Bernie Sanders, like that ship has sailed. He doesn't do well. And so to now think that Kamala Harris is going to re-rack this thing, I did get a kick out of all the memes. I put one out myself of Jack Nicholson just doing the whole, bring it. Like, let's do this again.
Is great.
And to believe in the ticket that I put out there that I believe is going to end up being it, I think you'll see a combination of her and AOC.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they'll do the lady ticket.
They will.
In part because when they lose, and they will lose, this then becomes a referendum on attacking the country because, well, you're just not ready to have a female president, let alone a female ticket. Be like, no. You have two bad candidates within your own polling that says they're both bad candidates.
Yeah. It's kind of like here locally in Georgia. I don't think anybody looks at Keisha Lance Bottoms and go, that's a great candidate we got there. Nobody thinks that. I'm not sure why they selected her. It almost feels like the Joe Biden thing where they're like, well, we got to serve somebody up. We know she'll lose.
It's your turn.
Your turn to take the flush.
Yeah, because where was the energy behind that? Now, I do believe that there is an energy when it comes to people want to find out, does AOC have traction around the entirety of the country?
Yep.
Kamala Harris does not.
No, definitely not. I don't think even people on the Democrat side take her serious. And I know there's people out there that love her. But I think as a whole, I think they even look at her and go, eesh, I don't know about this.
But what are your real other options?
Yeah, there's not many good ones.
And this is where we start to get to the point where politics can become silly at times. Like, for instance, J.B. Pritzker, if you want to talk about the Illinois governor, I could make the argument that you have a better chance of, you're going to get Illinois, but you have a better chance of perhaps holding the Midwest, of being able to retain Michigan, being able to be more so competitive in Wisconsin because you have a
track
Midwestern.
Record. Yeah, with that and a track record.
The problem is he's a huge human.
Yes.
And visually, it's the same issue that I believe Chris Christie had.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it didn't look healthy.
Any time especially in Chris Christie, when you were talking about 2010 for the next several years before his star began to fade, I mean, he's a New Jersey governor. He's a no-nonsense guy. He's not going to take any crap from anybody.
Well, that, and he can work across the aisles. He has a good relationship with the Democrats, too.
And then when he would talk about personal discipline, you would say, why do you not have any of your own? It's my theory of fat football coaches.
Okay.
All right. Football requires a strong amount of discipline.
Yes, that's right. Yep, you got to be in there. Got to get the work done to get in shape. Yeah, there's all kinds of things got to happen.
You're asking people to partake in a physical activity that is very demanding. What happens when you're incapable
of doing the things that you're asking them to do?
Now, granted, it's different when you are older. If you got a coach who's 65, 70 years old and he happens to be a little bit more robust, that's fine. You can't look like that at 40.
You're like Andy, what's the Chiefs coach? Andy Reid, thank you.
But Andy Reid, if you go back and look at him during his Green Bay days and when he first started in Philadelphia.
He was fit and trim?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a big, he was a larger guy.
He's a big dude to begin with.
He's a big dude to start with.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as large as he is now.
Yeah, he's big.
Same thing. Now. You go back to early years of Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells looks like a big New Jersey guy.
Yeah.
Who then, obviously he got older, got into his 70s, got bigger. It's just what happens. But because it's such a visually oriented, position to have a president, I think that, if we're used to it, like Donald Trump can be whatever. Everyone saw Donald Trump in the 80s and in the 90s, whatever. The fact that as he got older, you're like, oh, look, he's bigger. But he was never like that.
Obese
when he was, when we're talking the 80s and 90s.
No, that's right. And because TV wouldn't allow it. I mean, when he's doing that the TV show, what was the name of
The
that?
Apprentice.
The Apprentice. Thank you. He looked like he was in fine shape. He just looked like a regular man, and he was definitely not. And like I said, TV wouldn't allow it. He was definitely not out of shape or obese or even carrying extra weight. He looked like a guy that would run a company.
And that's why I believe Pritzker's been doing what he can to get the weight down. He wants to be he wants to be presentable nationally. Now, AOC,
she's presentable.
Tug will always find her presentable. AOC has one goal. Don't talk about international politics and don't get fat. Okay, those are two goals.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Those are the two.
The one got put up. She's already fallen into that trap the first time.
So you can't step in the other one.
That's right.
Is that unfair? Yeah, but it applies to men as well.
Yeah,
this is
totally
a visual-oriented business.
It is. Totally.
It is.
TV, what you look like on TV and in clips on social media matters. Now, does it take away from your intelligence or your ability to do the thing? No. But at the same time, people are naturally drawn to attractive other people. It's how it goes.
I'm showing you this image. That was J.D. Pritzker in 2024. And you can see the size of him.
Yeah. He looks like he had a small child.
That's where I believe he's been trying to get the weight down.
He took Ozempic, right? Am I crazy about that?
Did he? Maybe.
I thought I heard.
Maybe.
Saw that somewhere.
Yeah, there's his time image where now he's dropped weight.
He actually looks really good there.
I believe he's dropping weight for strictly that purpose of trying to compete on a national platform.
All right, now you got me Ozempic.
Now you're looking into it.
Let's see if he did. Yeah, he's J.B. Pritzker has noticeably slimmed down, addressing the public speculation by emphasizing lifestyle changes and declining to comment.
Stop eating everything.
Stop eating small children. He's not admitted that, but people are speculating, Bryce, that maybe he's using the GLP-1s.
Well, you'll know if it comes right back.
Yeah, right. If he stops and he's right back to
it's kind of the deal.
Looking like he's preggers.
Comes back with a vengeance. I mean, you use the GLP-1s in order to make lifestyle changes. I mean, they were created for people that were dealing with a lot of issues towards diabetes so that slow down, get this under control, make some lifestyle changes.
But that's the problem. Most people don't.
Most people have zero interest in it.
They're like, I want the magic pill. I want to poop it out.
I want to go right back over to the fast food place.
That's exactly. I'm going to inject as I'm sitting in the drive-thru at McDonald's. I'm just giving myself the injection.
Now I don't want to eat.
Oh, wait. Yes, I do.
But
quarter pounder.
Big picture. Kamala Harris would be... that would be a gift to us.
Yeah, it would.
So it remains to be seen who else is going to throw their hat in that ring. I do believe Pritzker will. I know for all the talk about Westmore's going to have issues and within his own party of being a guy who has told some pretty big lies.
Yeah.
The simplest way to put it.
Yep.
I just think that they'll chew him up on that.
Yeah, it'll be easy to do. Do you think it could be AOC on the lead of that ticket? Or do you think it?
I don't believe so.
Because I don't either. But I feel like the energy, what energy's out there, is behind her and not Kamala. So the natural thing to happen would be you put the person with the most energy on the front of the ticket versus the VP slot.
One of the things that we did not jump into from yesterday was we played the James Carville audio about talking about, listen, the SAVE Act, it's a win for everybody. Have some sort of legal voter ID so that 75% of the country who does want it, they get it, claim victory on that.
Yep.
But he also, during his bedside chat, is he laying down every time?
Yeah, there's a large pillow behind him. It looks like, he is like 90.
Yeah. He was doing an interview, and he started talking about how Kamala Harris can't talk, and neither can AOC.
Yeah, and they ain't wrong.
So the goal is
he's not wrong.
A level of exposure. It's like, how do you keep them from being overexposed if you run either one of them?
We each have light inside of us.
He talked about her having a limited vocabulary.
You tell me that's not motivating? That makes me want to run to the polls, Los.
Listen to the experts.
See? She knows what to say. Listen to Dr. Fauci. He was the expert. He was science. Dude, there's the bad thing. He's 81, by the way. I looked it up. I thought he was closer to 90, but 81.
If he can do interviews from bed, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just weird. It looks weird. It looks real weird. I mean, he's got like a large pillow behind him. It looks like almost like a hospital bed or something.
10 days ago, James Carville, in an article in the New York Post, talked about AOC has no shot at the Democrat nomination for president. Said, quote, she's not going to have any chance.
I just don't know if I believe that.
I think that, I think that.
Yes, finish, please. Tell me, what do you think?
He did point out, he says, let me say something very clearly. The Democrats, not even in 72, never nominate the most liberal candidate.
No, okay, well, in that case.
Things might be changing there, James.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I think Kamala AOC is the way it's. I'm with you, man.
I feel more and more.
That's the most logical.
Again, we got into it last week. Cernovich, when he talked about a Rahm Emanuel ticket, we said, well, what's the problem there? Rahm Emanuel's a very small man.
Yep, there you go.
So you can't be too large.
Or too small.
Or you can't be too small.
Look, there's rules, pal. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Dr. Fauci sounds like a serial killer, and Los has some things to get off his chest about it next.
Your paycheck buys less than it used to. That's not a talking point, that's your grocery receipt. And Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station has the numbers, the reasons, and who's accountable. Listen live or stream us anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app.
Your next vehicle is at Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs. Whether you need a truck that works as hard as you do, an SUV built for family adventures, or a vehicle that makes every commute more enjoyable, you'll find it at Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs.
Shop an outstanding selection of new Ford models, including the F-150, Bronco, Explorer, Escape, and more. Plus a great selection of quality pre-owned vehicles.
At Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs, our team is committed to making your buying experience quick, easy, and convenient so you can spend less time at the dealership and more time enjoying the drive.
Start online at JimEllisFordSandySprings.com. Browse inventory, value your trade, explore payment options, even complete your entire purchase from the comfort of home. Discover why so many drivers choose Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs. Visit JimEllisFordSandySprings.com or stop by 7555 Roswell Road, just 4 miles north of I-285. Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs, where you can always expect the best.
This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Locally owned and heard throughout Georgia on the Extra app.
Two world leaders discussing two American adversaries. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what'll happen this morning at the White House, where Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will go first and not just talk about the war with Russia. Fox's Jennifer Griffin reports.
Zelensky says he will share evidence with President Trump. Russia is providing Iran satellite imagery of U.S. bases in the Middle East, helping Iran target U.S. troops.
And that Iran conflict will also be a big topic when Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sits down with the president after a fourth straight night without bombing following 13 days of U.S. attacks. Fox's Trey Yanks monitoring from Tel Aviv.
Reports indicate Oman presented a proposal to Iran that would open the Strait of Hormuz. From July 24th to the 26th, 29 vessels passed through this critical waterway, according to international shipping data. President Trump indicated you can't bribe Iran to keep the strait open.
No, you can't bribe them. You got to beat them, and we're beating the hell out of them. But we'll see how it turns out.
Well, that was the president at a rally in Michigan. Later today, he'll speak at Lindsey Graham's funeral.
The casket carrying the late Senator Lindsey Graham will be brought into the Capitol Rotunda for a ceremony. This morning, congressional leaders are expected to speak. And while this event is closed to the public, it will be live streamed. He will then be taken to the National Cathedral for a ceremony there at 2 o'clock.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Zelensky and Netanyahu will attend that service. And later this evening, Zelensky will meet with senators to discuss Ukraine's battle against Russia. And Fox's Chad Pergram reports from the Capitol.
To honor Graham, the Senate will take a test vote tonight on a Russia sanctions bill. Graham secured a deal on sanctions just before he died.
We've got Russia down, and we're choking.
That is Republican Senator John Kennedy. Now, last night, senators gave preliminary approval for Jay Clayton to be the next director of national intelligence. That will set up a final confirmation vote for the Trump nominee later this week. America's listening to Fox News.
When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works, and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our audience do that. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I want you to hear a few of their stories. Chris spent years doing physical work. It left his feet sore every day at the end of the day. After starting taking Relief Factor, he felt so good he did something he'd never done before. He ran half a marathon. Now he tells his friends about Relief Factor. I'm the same. Totally understand how Chris feels because I do it every day. I tell my friends how I was just with somebody that works at the White House and we were talking about Relief Factor. We're both like, is that not an amazing product? And they make it really easy now for you to find out if you can be the next person that's telling us about Relief Factor and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks, $17.76. Try it. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with their friendly local team, and they'll do everything they can to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us as well. ReliefFactor.com.
You're right, and so are we. Welcome to Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3.
Well, it's been some time.
You know, this song is so appropriate from Zach Top as the discussion will be of Dr. Fauci and all the lies that Dr. Fauci has told and the fact that he'll be in a hearing tomorrow, and I don't expect we'll get much out of that hearing, not nearly as much as we got out of his diary that he kept like a little girl, which is so rare. There's so many things crazy about this. And anyway, the song's called I Never Lie. And of course, it's talking about how much you lie. That's the whole point of the song from Zach Top. It's such a good tune to be in.
Zach Top is so good, dude.
He's so
oh
incredible.
My god,
so incredible, so good, and his career's exploding and good for. He's just got he's focused on that kind of traditional, more '90s country sound. But we can talk about him a little bit. But let's get to the first thing to know this morning because there's so much to be said.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high. Man, we got the story, no time for a lie. You dumb person. Put a boot in your ass, courtesy of the...
But where do we begin? I know you've been sitting on go, so I'm just going to hand it right off.
No.
It's like Buck Baloo. Hand it to Herschel.
All right, so if you're just now joining us, I did something I typically do not do. Last night, as the Braves were starting to get pounded, I checked out and said, you know what? I spent a little bit of time Sunday evening, Monday morning with Fauci's diary. I'm just going to jump back in and let me see if there's more stuff because it is pretty comprehensive. And I think when you start talking about a hearing and Rand Paul and the work that he's done, the senator from Kentucky, first off, thank you for not letting this go. The next part is that now you'll be able to be questioned about what you said publicly versus what you were writing privately. And those are at odds with one another. The more I read, Tug, the more I got to the word hate. To imagine that one man was at the heart of how this thing was funded, how it was created, how it was covered up, and then how we reacted to it, which was destroying our own economy.
Unnecessarily.
And to watch how people were suddenly called essential or unessential. I thought about trying to head over to a Home Depot and have to wait to have other people leave and then have to follow arrows.
Yeah.
I thought about all of that.
And the plexiglass at the cash register.
Or the plexiglass that we had in our studios here to do radio shows because some people had bought into the fanaticism.
Well, I don't think they had a choice in some of it because if something did happen, then you open yourself up to lawsuits. They were just going by, in many cases, as crazy as it was, what they told them to do.
The
so I get it. Yeah, what the science, yes.
That came from this man.
Yes, that's exactly right. He was making people jump through unnecessary hoops for no reason.
All right, so because I want to establish that the part that was probably angering me the most, this is what Bryce had asked during the 6 o'clock hour, and the part that upset me the most was that he was talking about an infection rate and then a fatality rate in the area of 0.2 or 0.3. while then going on to national media and talking about 2.5%. He already knew that when it comes to the flu, the fatality rate is 0.1%. So could you say, oh, it's twice as deadly as the flu? Yeah, but it's still 0.2%.
Right.
Is it 3 times more deadly than the flu? Okay, fine, 0.3%. Now, here was the reason why I say I know how crazy this is. So this was March 11th, 2020, Tug, right here, at 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And I'm combing through data because what else am I going to do?
Nothing else going on.
Having to watch all this stuff go all to pot.
Yeah.
So here I am combing through data. And I jumped into the South Koreans' data. Because the South Koreans, as a society, whenever you see people in Asia that mask up, it's because they have a more routine practice when they do deal with like avian flu, bird flu, stuff like that. Stuff that hits their societies. They're like, all right, this is what we do. Here's how we measure it. Here's how we get as far as how dangerous this thing is. I went into their data. I wrote on March 11, 2020, Tug, at 11 o'clock. The South Koreans are the only people who have a good idea of this because of their testing. They have been testing nearly 20,000 people per day for weeks. They actually established the denominator, confirmed 7,500 cases and 54 deaths. It's why they're at a 0.6 fatality rate, and it carries weight. Theirs was 0.6 at the time. Now, the fatality rate was always going to fall no matter what. So in March 11th of 2020, I'm hearing Fauci talking about 2.5%, 3%, all these crazy numbers. And I'm like, wait a minute, the South Koreans have 0.6. What did we find out? It was 0.2 or 0.3.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about here's what the real fatality rate is. And yet that man knew it too in Anthony Fauci. Yet it was empowering for him to run around and say what he was going to say because it turned him into a celebrity.
What he was saying on TV and online and on social media and what he was saying in his diary to himself was completely different. They don't even resemble each other. He talked about how the press was hot and heavy about me. I'm the most famous person in the country, maybe the most recognizable in the world. He was so obsessed with celebrity. He was like a 14-year-old girl on Instagram that had just crossed over 15,000 followers.
Oh, look. Now I'm so famous.
It's starting to explode. It's really happening for me. But the thing about him is he was wearing that like a coat, like some sort of like shield. He thought of himself as a deity.
So you brought up serial killer mentality.
Because when I read it, dude, that's what those documentaries you talk about, because Los, if you don't know it, maybe you do, Los watches a lot of documentaries about serial killers.
And read a lot of books.
Okay. But when we talk about this and you go through some of the behaviors,
the mentality
of those people, I saw it. I could hear the words that you had shared with me before as I'm reading Dr. Fauci, and I was like, he sounds like a serial killer.
I hadn't considered that until you brought it up, and here's why I say it rings completely true. I'm like, ding, Tug, nailed it. Because so many of these people, whether it's for instance, Son of Sam, he loved reading about himself in the media. He paid attention. David Berkowitz paid attention to the media. He wanted you to
wrote
cover
about it, whatever column.
He wanted you to cover what he was covering, what he was doing.
What he was doing, yeah.
You had the same thing with the Zodiac killer out in San Francisco. Wanted the media to follow. Wanted celebrity. This was not unlike that. It had the same vibes of someone who was destroying large portions of our society, not just our economy, and that's first and foremost. But he ruined your kid's senior year or his freshman year.
That's right.
He ruined a lot of senior years.
Oh, yeah.
He ruined a lot of special ed programs for children that need constant attention. I've got a friend of mine who runs a school for severely autistic children. They didn't get any instruction for months. They were just left at home to kind of figure it out. You turned to society, a large amount of people who were dealing with some issues, turned into a lot of alcoholics and drug users.
No question. And then to further that part of seeing himself in that light as a celebrity. He was dining with Jake Tapper. As he was telling you, you can't, you shouldn't, you have to sit 6 feet apart. He's at Jake Tapper's house, or they're having Jake over, whichever it is, but they go to dinner together, and he writes about that in his diary. That to me, that is just him really wrapping his arms around the media, because he knew that was his key to that celebrity that he so desperately wanted.
He had Dana Bash on a string at CNN. And this is what he was doing. It's in part, to me, the reason why none of this is being covered. We're never going to see this on MS Now or anywhere else.
Ever.
Is because they all fell for it.
Or were just fine with it. Because I don't believe all of them thought the things that they were saying.
He was right?
Yes. I don't believe that. They're smarter than that. They are smarter people than that.
I would like to imagine so. They were like, wow, we got hoodwinked.
But their politics were fine with it.
But this is where, this is that point where it's been a level of frustration for me to wait for the amount of people to say, man, I got fooled. Nobody wants to admit to being fooled. Now, there's a handful of people that are being honest. It was like, this guy totally took me. This guy totally fooled me. And for those of you who have said that, I'm like, good for you. I'm glad you figured it out. I thought about it pretty early on. Again, I was reading from March 11th of 2020. And to read the comments that come off of that particular post, that tweet, here was one of them, Tug. I think you'll get a laugh out of this one.
All right.
This person says, I would point out that 2/3 of males smoke in South Korea. I think it's something like 15% in America. You can't tell me that doesn't have something to do with the numbers of deaths. Like, actually, the smoking's more helpful.
Yeah, right. It's crazy enough. Yeah, we found out later. Who would have thought in a million years? Who would have thought that?
And what was my joke for the longest time?
Yeah,
eat vegan, start smoking. Start smoking. But these are. I'm not looking back at this with hindsight. During the time I was screaming about this stuff, I was like, are you kidding me? This is what we're doing. We're crushing our own economy. We're crushing our society. And to read through that diary, and that's the part that infuriates me, he was celebrating it as long as it gave him fame.
That's right. It didn't matter that the things that he would write and the things that he would say
were two completely
totally different things. And I don't know that it matters to him now. He's still clinging to that fame. He's still clinging to that name that he feels like he created. And there's a certain portion, my Aunt Peg being one of them, she'll never see. She'll never see any of these things we're talking about. She'll never know the truth.
He went onto news programs and told you he had nothing to do with school closures. Yet in his diary, he brings up, in one case, it's Gavin Newsom's aide, in order to get the school, chief of staff to get the school shut down in California, and did the same thing in the city of New York.
With Cuomo.
Cuomo.
Said I spoke directly to the governor and told him he should do this.
Yeah. Yet he's running around telling you the
TV,
other.
No, I had never told them to shut down schools. What? Yeah, you can't blame me for that. Yeah, we saw it. But do you think they're that level of crazy when it comes to, I mean, I don't know, like likening it to a serial killer. Do you think that level of crazy overrides your common sense there? Because we all saw him say those things, yet he's saying it out loud. No, I never did. Do you think he completely dismisses that because he's that nuts?
I think a lot of it comes down to how the picture's painted.
Like, they won't see me, they won't know?
Like, I've been built into, as you put it, such a deity that what I say won't be questioned. And that, as he told us, if you're going after Anthony Fauci, you're going after science.
I am science.
Oh, you're science, huh?
Yes.
Really? That's what you were. It just, if I can get a small amount, because I know that Rand Paul has talked about that when it comes to his pardon that he got from Joe Biden, that goes back a decade. Rand Paul has said it would probably not be able to stand up in court based on all the stuff we have. But I don't know that for sure.
What about state courts?
I know.
What about civil liabilities?
I'd love to start with a state court.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple different places
federal
you can go.
prosecution
Yeah.
is what he's protected from.
Yeah, that's right. But not the state of Georgia, state of Florida, and there's,
And who wants to launch that case? Knowing here's now all the information of what you did. At the very least, it is, we have people that get sued over, products that are used out there that are dangerous. Man, his information he gave out was dangerous, and he knew it.
And he knew it. He did it on purpose. You had read from your tweet from March of 2020. Let me read from his diary. March 21st, 2020, deaths, 9,800. His entry in his diary, quote, big front page article about me, appeared in the Washington Post. Very flattering. My national and international fame is exploding and really unimaginable. It's not hyperbole to say that today I'm the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable persons in the world. In one day, you wrote all that? In one day, your ego was so on display that that's what you wrote down. You didn't focus. You didn't care about the 9,800 people that had died. No, nothing about, hey, how do we rescue? How do we save? How do we do better? No, it was all about him.
And this was also during the time period where the lab leak started to gain traction. And he's the one who put together the call, the emails, and the work that was essentially threatening the funding of the other doctors if they ran with this. It turned into, no, it came from a pangolin. It was a bat and a wet market.
And he knew from the very beginning.
Because he was involved in the funding.
Yeah, he knew
with
that.
EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak. Every single line goes back to this guy. And just when I think I was content. I was content with, I will get no pound of flesh here. And then to read what Rand Paul has published, what they have, what they found, it just drives it home even more. Like, do you understand what Joseph Mengele was doing as like an experimental doctor with the Nazis and say, how can you be so sick to experiment on people? He did.
It's the same thing.
He did.
He knew.
The power and the prestige and the fame was so all-encompassing that there was no amount of pain that could be visited upon you and your family that would be too much for this guy.
He was drunk. He was intoxicated with fame. March 22nd, diary entry. Cases continue to soar. 30,000 in USA with 400 deaths. Press is going wild with me. Front page of the New York Washington Post yesterday. Op-ed by Maureen Dowd in New York Times today about me. Profile by Peter Nicholas in The Atlantic. He tracked down the body count and his press clippings. That's what he was doing. That's what he was intoxicated with.
Yeah.
Not with helping.
No, the deaths only justified his level of celebrity. The more death, the more energy he was going to have, the more fame, the more influence. Yes.
And he likened that to him being recognized, essentially.
Yes. The bigger the numbers got, the more famous he was going to get. That is some psycho sort of stuff.
Dude, it totally is.
It's pure evil. It is the reason why. I tell you, I hate cancer. I hate terrorism. I think I hate that man. Like, I truly...
It'd take a lot not to.
Yeah, I truly look at him and go, in modern times, you were part of, and I'll throw out the WHO numbers. You killed 5 million people worldwide with what you were involved in. If you want to go American numbers, it was like, 1 million? And you were built into a deity.
And
no one who...
And loved it, every second of it.
And why did Robert F. Kennedy Jr. never get sued for the book he wrote about the real Anthony Fauci?
Because it was all true.
Because it was all true. If you want to go back and watch Dallas Buyers Club...
Oh, dude, yes.
That is the Matthew McConaughey film about what he was doing to strengthen his immune system to deal with his AIDS diagnosis. And at the time, the federal government was trying to get him to stop doing what he was doing. Who was the unnamed enemy in that movie? It was Anthony Fauci. who was pushing his treatment that was killing people by the thousands during the AIDS epidemic. Wash and repeat. That's all they did. That's all he did.
He just went bigger with COVID, I think. He just went bigger.
Oh,
the numbers were gigantic.
I mean, could you imagine what he was thinking about? Like, I couldn't. Well, they blamed this all on the gay community in the 80s. I couldn't do it all I wanted to do.
Yeah. Right.
Once it was everybody, it was finally,
yeah.
I have this power.
Dude, and wrote and was so sick with it that wrote it all down. The joys of his fame. One Democrat must have been MAGA at some point. We'll do a flashback next on Extra 106.3.
Listen to the Morning Extra, The Kimmer Show, Neil Bortz, and all your favorite Extra 106.3 personalities whenever you want with the all-new Extra app. It's anytime show replays, all your favorite podcasts, and the latest political news from across Georgia. Download the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road, and with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett has it for you. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right size SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
When you retire, you'll walk away from meetings, deadlines, and spreadsheets. But you know what you also walk away from? Your paycheck. So now what? You call Evan Ward and the team at Atlas Retirement. Evan's main focus has always been protecting what you have and building a paycheck that comes in every month. Call today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with Evan Ward and Atlas Retirement. 678-252-5224.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Fox on Tech.
Folks in Hillsboro, Oregon take pride in their rural roots, but instead of wheat, data centers are popping up in the fields on the edges of town. 18 data centers have been built or are under construction here, with 17 applications to expand or build new ones. The residents showed up at their city council to voice their concern, blaming them for rising electricity costs, noise, and changes to the city's character.
Hillsboro families are getting hit twice, on our power bills and by backroom deals.
But the mayor and others say data centers are good for the community, leading to more jobs and revenue for the city. Here's Ryan Mallory, CEO of Flexential, which operates 5 data centers here.
We pay millions, if not tens of millions of dollars back into the community to help with roads and schools and other things.
The number of data centers is growing across the state, drawn here by tax incentives. But Oregon lawmakers are placing a 1-year pause on a data center property tax break. With Fox on Tech, Max Gordon, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, July 28th, and here are your headlines. Newly released diary entries from Dr. Anthony Fauci detail frequent communications with several prominent journalists during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The entries released by Senator Rand Paul describe Fauci's interactions with CNN's Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, NBC's Chuck Todd, and ABC's George Stephanopoulos, including discussions of media strategy as well as other personal meetings. With 100 days left to go until the midterm elections, both parties continue to ramp up campaigns for control of Congress both here in Georgia and across the nation. Democrats need to gain 3 House seats and 4 Senate seats, with a new Washington Post poll showing Democrats holding a 3-point lead on the generic congressional ballot. ahead of November. And finally, gas prices continue to climb across Metro Atlanta. AAA says the average price is now up to $3.92 a gallon, up 15 cents from just last week, and more than 35 cents higher than a month ago, with Fulton County topping the metro area at just over $4 a gallon. It's partly cloudy today. It'll be hot and humid with a high of 94 and a low of 76. Your Xtra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. Cousin Brittany texts in and said, I cannot believe he wrote it all down. I mean, I knew he loved fame, but for him to validate us by keeping a freaking diary, wow. It's the truth, man. Everything that we thought, everything that we said, which was the exact opposite of everything Tony Fauci said on TV, he wrote down to validate everything we already thought.
There's an entry from 2013 that Bill Malhusian had put out last night. It's so much stuff.
I mean,
the guy documented
crazy
all sorts of stuff. And one of the aspects he brings up is how the CDC complained about the publicity when it came to the influenza issue that was going on at the time. And he talked about how he was being asked to do shows to go on and explain, here's what's happening and here's how we need to protect ourselves or what to watch out for. And he wrote in his journal, in any event, it has nothing to do with my use of the word epidemic on Wolf Blitzer's show and everything to do with pure jealousy that I am a rock star stealing their thunder. Shame on the CDC.
The crazy thing is, when somebody calls somebody else a rock star, it's usually a derogatory term. I was like, oh, he's a rock star over here. You know what I mean? To refer to yourself as that.
And he put it in quotations.
Yeah.
So, again, either mimicking what they were saying or pointing it out. Either way, he still was writing this stuff down. I can't believe he wrote this much stuff down.
I'm glad he did, though. Isn't it crazy how life has a way of working out? I don't know that he'll ever be held accountable. I don't. Do I hope he is? Sure. Does he deserve to be? Absolutely.
It might not be in this world.
No, definitely. Now you're speaking to me on the most important side for me.
Okay, well then let me bring up the other issue before we jump into getting a chance to do a flashback here.
Yep.
I'm supposed to be, like, the divine element I'm supposed to be capable of is forgiveness. I can't forgive this guy. I have a hard time with this.
So the thing is, for me, I can because I know what's ahead. Or, my faith tells me what's ahead. What will you be? You may not be held accountable by me. You may not be held accountable by local authorities or a national authority. You may not spend a day in jail. But eternal hell, that seems to be more punishment than anything that we could dole out on this earth anyway. So maybe I can rest there going, you know what? Unless he finds the Lord real quick, and with that ego, doesn't seem like it's going to, he's marching down the right path to do that. What he gets in the end is fine enough by me.
Just want you to consider this. Pol Pot in Cambodia is recognized as one of the most influential killers in our history of politics. Killed somewhere between 1.5 2 million people. Fauci doubled it. And that's just with this virus. We're not talking about the suicides. We're not talking about the people that fell into horrible depression. We're not talking about the people whose lives were crushed, whose businesses ended.
That don't have an actual number attached to it because there's no way for us to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I know there are lots of them.
He had a large part of crushing a society and causing systemic damage that it might be a generation before we're ever able to get past all this. I mean, just the simple things. When you go to your grocery store and you walk out of there and you're like, man, I can't buy the same stuff I bought 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
He's part of it.
Yeah, because you printed $7 trillion and created inflation that we may never be able to get fully under control. Now, again, we're living at under what we want to be at, but the problem is there's no such thing truly as negative inflation.
There's no winding back the clock.
No.
Not to restore what we once had. And that goes, you talk about groceries, but when you think about people that watched their parents die by themselves through a window, there's no...
How do you get that back?
How do you can't get that back. My son's freshman year of high school, you can't get that back. You get one shot, man.
And him and Deborah Birx. But most notably, the guy who wrote everything down, that this is what they were doing.
Yeah.
And he loved the fame and
loved
the power.
every bit of it. He was fine with your parents having to die by themselves.
Sure.
And you watching from afar.
I still remember having to do Christmas outside because my relatives who had gone nuts, I'm looking around going, is this really happening? Like, this is not some surreal moment. I still remember a birthday cake being brought to my oldest daughter when she had just turned, I think this was like 10 or 11 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when she blew out the candles, a portion of the family refused to eat it.
So ridiculous.
Because she had blown out the candles.
So silly, so ridiculous. And we knew it all along.
And this was this man pushing this sort of stuff. I have a hard time with forgiveness there.
Right. And
I need to.
I get it.
But I got a hard time
I understand,
when I start thinking about what all it cost us. And it all lays at his feet. From the
it was expensive.
Funding of this, the creation of it, to the cover-up, to then, oh, by the way, make sure you stick this government experimental drug into your arm. I'm telling you, it'll keep you from all these problems.
Multiple times, actually, not just one.
Yet now I love to see the stories of, we've had this surge in heart issues and cancers. Must be tied to, and put whatever you want, eggs. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. Yes, your random heart issues in young people is tied to eggs. Your random cancers that show up and are turbo in the way that they're going through your system, that's due to X and not what was hoisted upon this country. And he is at the center of most all of it.
March 14th, 2021. So much fan mail that I've had to turn my tie closet into a climate-controlled archive. Wow. I can't leave my house because neighbors chant my name and disturb the wildlife. One gal tore her shirt off. Hiya, hottie, she screamed. Nude, but she wore a cloth mask with an argyle pattern. I recommend argyle because it may be the most effective at disrupting mouth debris distribution. Same with the red clown noses. I waved and shouted, "Stay safe." And it goes on and on.
And on and on.
Dude, I mean, that's just...
It's like...
The next paragraph, he talks about Jane Fonda. He talks about Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah, it's like the writings of a madman.
Dude, it is. It's insanity. Let's do a flashback now on Extra 106.3.
There is to say, baby, flashback. Go ahead and give it to me. Flashback, honey. Take us through the night. Flashback, now we're standing here, can't you see? It's all right.
Let's go back to the 90s, Tug. I had a 90s weekend. I went and saw Vertical Horizon and Tonic and Better Than Ezra.
So jealous. So not only did one of my dear friends in Los and his wife go, my cousin went the night before, sending me all the videos of the show. I wanted to go so bad, but it was Mama's birthday, so I did what I needed to do. I did the right thing, but it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Good son. I'm glad that you skipped the 90s fest. So I was having this conversation yesterday with somebody I just met. Dude, Aaron, let me tell you, first off, that dude can play some golf. All right? Like this guy I was playing with yesterday, it's like darts all over the course.
He's just a ball player, huh?
Yeah. And by the way, if anybody is around Josh and you know who you are, that eagle shot was still incredible. Dude drained an eagle from like 70 yards out.
Nice.
Actually hit the stick and went in. I was like, oh my God, what a shot. Anyway, so I'm talking to Aaron, and we start having this discussion. He's kind of inquiring to me about politics and what my politics are and sharing how him and his wife view things. And one of the aspects I brought up was, well, my wife typically votes Democrat, but I find her moving mentally more away from this. I said she is a 90s era Democrat. And the further the party moves away from the stuff that she kind of grew up with and that she believed in, the more she finds herself standing closer to me. And Aaron's point was, yeah, well, a 90s Democrat is like a real moderate person now. I was like, thank you. Like, you get it. I get it. We wonder about where that mentality is and where it's gone. And so I want to go back to the 90s. This is Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton is testifying in front of Congress. And she starts talking about in order to curtail illegal immigration, which at the time, the Democrats had zero interest in it because it hurt the unions, it hurt the working class, which was largely what their base of voters was made up of. No longer. They let them go basically during the Obama era, decided they were going to be a coalition of fractured groups of people that were, we've been offended, we've been attacked.
A group of victims.
Basically, they traded, for instance, the trans movement for working class. Working class, you can go away. We'll take the trans. So here is Hillary Clinton talking about dealing with illegal immigration.
As to illegal aliens, we agree with you that we do not think the comprehensive health care benefits should be extended to those who are undocumented workers and illegal aliens. We do not want to do anything to encourage more illegal immigration into this country. We know now that too many people come in for medical care as it is. We certainly don't want them having the same benefits that American citizens are entitled to have.
Whoa.
They would never be allowed in today's Democrat Party, ever.
MAGA Hillary.
That's right. Absolutely.
And of course, everything gets painted with the MAGA label. Wait, the entire view of this is do not extend benefits that American citizens get to people that are not American citizens. It's pretty simple.
Easy.
Yet, the Democrat Party now finds themselves in position where the only way, the only path forward when you are a 2080 when it comes to the issues political party is by bringing in more illegals. That's it. That's their lifeline. Cheating and illegals. That's the only way they will have power in this country. I would like to take you back to 1992, Tug. 1992. This is the ad for Clinton Gore. Take a listen.
New generation of Democrats, Bill Clinton and Al Gore, and they don't think the way the old Democratic Party did. They've called for an end to welfare as we know it, so welfare can be a second chance, not a way of life. They've sent a strong signal to criminals by supporting the death penalty, and they've rejected the old tax and spend politics. Clinton's balanced 12 budgets, and they've proposed a new plan investing in people, detailing $140 billion in spending cuts they'd make right now. Clinton Gore, for people, for a change.
What happened to those Democrats?
Never. Yeah, those
where'd
days
they go?
Those days are way, way gone.
They're now called MAGA Republicans.
That's exactly right. They would not be allowed in that party. Right now, there's probably some DSA just trembling because that exists on the Democrat side.
I have never voted Democrat.
Me either.
But by the way, that mentality is why when I was growing up, I thought more along the lines of, okay, well, which party is going to better serve the interests of me and my family? I hope that's the way that they vote. But they were not so dramatically different from one another. You had Bill Clinton, who basically came in with an Arkansas agenda just when it came socially. It was far more blue dog Democrat, more liberal. But when you look at what he was able to accomplish, we brought it up yesterday with Newt Gingrich. You can look back and say, wow, the era of big government is over. That was what was the case in the 90s.
Yeah, that's right.
And yet, we have to flash back to this because they don't exist anymore. This mentality is not there any longer.
And that party has been so infiltrated with everything that they used to say that they detested and they used to not agree with now is what they're running on. That party doesn't exist because the DSA has dismantled it. It doesn't even. The one person that talks sane will get primaried, and that is Fetterman up in Pennsylvania.
Consider this. We are about 30 years removed. There was a time where people in this audience could look at what was happening in combination with a Republican Congress and Bill Clinton in office and say, this is far more conservative than what I was being delivered under the Bushes. You could actually make the argument. Mm-hmm. You could actually bring up that discussion, and it would be logical, and you could see where, you know what? Maybe this time this is the way I'm going to vote. No longer. We're not even close to it. It's not even where these are two they're just a little divergent from one another.
Right.
It's like, no, they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
One loves the country, wants to save it. Do they do it correctly? No, probably not.
No.
In the Republican Party, because we blast them as much as we do the Democrats. But then the other side is so hard left that they're unrecognizable. They look like they're in, the USSR or something.
Rather than talking about, for instance, tax cuts, rather than saying, hey, maybe we should have a discussion about why some of these states will not adopt no tax on tips. Why don't we stop taxing overtime? Instead, they want to tell you about trannies.
That's right. And want to have your child read to by drag queens and just all this weird stuff that has no belonging in an elementary school. But that's the cross that they're dying on.
Yeah.
That's the hill that they're dying on.
We can go through some of the numbers later. Like Harry Enton had some of the stats. For anyone who believes like there's a blue wave coming, you're wildly unpopular when it comes to the Democrats. Wildly unpopular.
Hey, quickly, I brought up Bari Weiss's name with CBS, and I just saw a tweet from Mike Lee from about 6 hours ago, and it is he quote tweets the CBS News, Evening News, and they actually did a story on Dr. Fauci's diaries. So one.
Okay, we've got one.
We got one. One in the books. But at least, look, I asked, would she do it? And I hoped that she would. And she did. So at least one story in mainstream media. Is it enough? No. Should there be everybody be covering it? Absolutely right. But I'll give credit where credit's due. I hope they continue. When we continue on Extra 106.3, commies, boy, they love terrorism. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, July 28th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the opening game of their 3-game series in New York to the Mets last night. 14-3, the final. Some good news, Ronald Acuna Jr. did have a hit in his return to the lineup from the injured list. As for tonight, it'll be Chris Sale on the mound against Christian Scott. First pitch is set for 7:10. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Atlanta Falcons training camp begins today as the veterans will report to the team. The rookies reported to Flowery Branch last week. Full practices open to the public will begin this Friday. Around the league, Tampa Bay Buccaneer defensive tackle Vita Vea is requesting a trade from the team after contract talks stalled over the weekend for the two-time Pro Bowler. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
There's a lot riding on every digging project. You want it done and over with. And the utility companies want their underground lines untouched and intact. Georgia 811 helps connect the dots. If you're digging, submit your ticket to us at least 3 business days before the project starts. We'll notify our utility members, and they'll send locators to mark their lines at your site. Georgia 811, connecting the dots for safe digging.
Sponsored by Georgia 811.
Summer's winding down, but that doesn't mean the fun stops at Truist Park. Come see your Atlanta Braves July 30th through August 2nd as the Nationals come to town. Fans are invited to celebrate legend Andrew Jones on his induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame on the 30th with his bobblehead giveaway presented by Curacao. Feel it for yourself. Plus an on-field presentation honoring his iconic career. Fans can then relive the magic of '96 as we celebrate 30 years since Atlanta lit the Olympic flame on the 31st. Join us for a night of music, memories, and hometown pride, followed by Friday night fireworks presented by Georgia Lottery after the game. The weekend fun continues on Saturday, August 1st with the pregame block party in the Battery Atlanta and the Braves Country's Got Talent search at the Georgia Power Pavilion. The National Series wraps up on Sunday as the first 3,000 kids will receive the Ice Cream Shorts giveaway. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out all the fun and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Finding the right vehicle should be simple. That's why Atlanta drivers trust Jim Ellis Buick GMC for selection, value, and exceptional service.
From daily commutes to weekend getaways, you'll find the right vehicle at Jim Ellis Buick GMC. Shop our extensive selection of new Buick and GMC models, take advantage of competitive offers, and enjoy a customer service experience designed around convenience.
Whether you're looking for a capable truck, a versatile SUV, or a premium driving experience, you'll find it here. With flexible shopping options and a commitment to outstanding service, we make make it easy to shop with confidence. Start online by browsing inventory, valuing your trade, exploring payment options, and scheduling a test drive.
Visit in person and experience the professional, customer-focused service that has made Jim Ellis a trusted name for generations. Visit JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop at one of our 2 convenient locations in Chamblee, on Peachtree Boulevard, inside the perimeter, or in Buford, off Highway 20 near the Mall of Georgia.
Jim Ellis Buick GMC, we are professional grade.
Bullet points.
I'm Evan Brown. AR-15s might be legal again in another state. The U.S. Third Circuit Court of Appeals rules New Jersey's ban on semi-automatic rifles is unconstitutional. It's the first time a federal appeals court would say that a state ban on semi-auto rifles such as AR-15 style firearms fails to pass the test created by the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 Bruin decision, which mandates any gun control laws must be rooted in historic tradition. That New Jersey law also banned magazines holding more than 10 rounds. New Jersey's lawyers argued the state was acting lawfully, using the disputed definition of semi-auto rifles as being military style. The state's attorney general is weighing whether or not to appeal the third court's ruling to the Supreme Court. The high court is already agreeing to hear similar cases from Connecticut and Illinois. And those are your bullet points. I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
One of the problems with leftists in this country, or you might call them progressives, or I rather like the term libtards, one of the problems is they just cannot define the terms they use.
Atlanta Talk radio legends are only on Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. This tweet, I think, really summarizes the discussion that we've had this morning. And I'm going to get to the cut about how commies love terrorism and why in just a minute. But I want to show you this, Los, and I'll spin it around for the extras on the YouTube channel.
Hello, extras.
This is a picture, and it says Dr. Fauci's legacy. Never forget. And it's 2 doctors, and they're covered, head to toe in the spacesuit looking, all that. And the Post-its on the window say, "He is at peace." The other one to the right of it says, "We are so sorry." That was what I was talking about when we were discussing how Dr. Fauci allowed those people to die alone without their family nearby, which, to be honest, it's more detrimental to the family. They had to go through it. The person that's passed on, they're in glory and everything is better for them. They don't have to deal with the remnants of seeing those stickers telling them that their loved one had passed.
I think one of the times where it hit for my wife, because they were still with her company. They were at home. They were doing their everybody was basically working remote.
Yeah.
You and I were at work. We were in the office. We were doing our thing.
God bless DBC, man.
Yeah, for making that happen. I remember when I get a call from her and she says, "Well, the dog just fell down. Like, he can't stand up." And this was our old pup. Had him for almost 15 years.
Oh, no. I don't know the story.
I'm like, I was like, I know where we're at. Like, I knew he was old. I knew he was having trouble regulating some stuff. And I was like, I think this is the day. And so I talked to Buck and John and was like, hey, here's what's going on. And both them as dog owners were like, you need to go. Just head on home. Go take care of this.
The puppy, yeah.
When we went to the vet's office, they flat out told us, well, with our policies, the dog either comes in and it's taken care of, or you have to sit outside. And I remember how strange it was to take a blanket, have to go sit like in this little wooded area and have the dog put down because of what your rules were and stuff. And again, it's nowhere near the same as a person.
No, of course not. But it is.
It's just, it was ludicrous, the sort of things that were going on. Where at one point I'm looking around, I'm like, I've had this dog for 15 years, and this is very sad, and love this pup. At the same time going, we're out like in a parking lot.
Yeah, so random and weird and unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I keep coming back to. Unnecessary. All of it. All of it was unnecessary. And I don't know that many, I know some people know, but let's say half the country knows. That's still 150 million people that have no idea.
To me, what this diary signifies is that so much of this stuff is just under the surface. Like, a lot of us have been able to bury a lot of these feelings. A lot of it anger.
It's because you got to move on, man. You can't just dwell.
You can't dwell on it.
Yeah.
At the same time, when this stuff comes up, it doesn't take very long
for it to bubble back up.
For that surface to be scratched away, and now here's the nerve. And that nerve is anger and frustration and all of it. And so I get it a lot. There are some of you out there that are like, really? This is coming up again? And it is all tied to Fauci's diary, and it's all tied to what that testimony is going to be. And by the way, I did get a question on X, and I explained it. This was all secured through Health and Human Services, HHS, through their servers. This man kept notes on everything. And so there's a portion of this I think we're going to find out during the hearing how they got more of this data. But this was Fauci putting this on government servers that he believed, well, no one's ever going to get this information.
Why would
this
they
is
ever
mine.
look here?
Yeah.
Why would they ever look here? Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3.
That hearing, by the way, tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Yeah. It'll be, maybe we'll cut in there and see if we can't play some of it live, too, especially if we get to a juicy part.
I know what we're doing at 8:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. It pretty much writes itself. I want you to hear from these commies because it's crazy. They love terrorism. It's why they support people like Antifa and leftist terrorism in the United States. This is a DSAer saying he hopes that Iran wins the war. But do you know why? Listen.
The U.S. government and the Israeli government, they're in the midst of creating the Fourth Reich. And it is absolutely accurate to compare these people to Mussolini, to Adolf Hitler. We're governed by dead-eyed psychopaths and sociopaths and bloodthirsty imperialists. The U.S. government and the Israeli government, they are the terrorists. They are the terrorists. They are doing terrorism. If Iran's off the table as a regional power, that means Hezbollah can't be funded, Hamas can't be funded, the Houthis can't be funded, like the Shia Crescent falls, and then you have nothing but regional domination for Israel. There's a reason why I call Israel and the U.S. the axis of Epstein, okay? There's a reason why I've said repeatedly that they're in the midst of creating the Fourth Reich, because that sincerely is what they're doing. These are genuinely repulsive, disgusting, wretched, depraved human beings. And it is absolutely accurate to compare these people to the worst criminals in history, to Mussolini, to Adolf Hitler.
In light of what we've learned out of Dr. Fauci, had he said all that about Dr. Fauci, I'd have been like, you know what? I believe you're right, pal.
Sounds good.
But no, he said that about the United States and Israel, talking about how if we win this war, and he hopes Iran wins so they can continue to fund Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. It boils down to every time on their side, anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism. They hate this country. They hate Israel. They hate the Jews. They don't run from it. They embrace people like Mao and Nazism. And we've learned that now. They don't hide it. Graham Platinum didn't hide it. They embrace it.
I'm going to try and explain this in 1 minute. The worldview that person happens to hold is one where, for instance, the Native Americans were kumbaya and they were never violent, and it was no big deal. Yeah. And when it comes to the United States and Israel, well, listen, they're just agitators in the region. They are the great Satans. So they need to be counterbalanced by these terrorist organizations that continue to attack them in their interests. Because if you just left them alone, they'd all be peaceful and friendly.
Oh, yes, definitely.
That's the problem.
My man's never picked up a history book in his life.
We could end up with a situation where, let's just say you left the Iranians alone. What would they do? They'd build a nuclear weapon and use it on Tel Aviv.
They're trying to do it now. They're physically trying to do it at Pickaxe Mountain now.
And so, yes, you know why we are the great Satan? Because our weapons are just bigger and better. That's why they're having to use their terrorist tactics. If you can cut off the funding for terrorism, you get less terrorism. Amazing how that works. It's weird. It's like Economy 101.
We owe Rand Paul a tip of the extra 10-gallon hat. We'll talk about that next on Xtra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Well, I guess it's pretty easy to hate Jeff Bezos, especially if you're into hating people more successful than you are. And maybe a good reason to say capitalism is terrible. Look what he's done to retail and shopping malls. Anyway, let me tell you something about Bezos. I didn't know, learned it over the weekend. When Bezos started Amazon, he was working at a table in a garage. Finally, he could pay himself a salary, $80,000 a year. And that was his salary up to and through his tenure as the CEO of Amazon. $80,000 a year. Never took more. Yeah, he's worth over $200 billion. Why is that? Because while he was drawing down a salary of $80,000 a year, he built a company that's worth, his share, $200 and some billion. But he left the money in the company to build the company and create very wealthy employees and retirees. Jeff Bezos has an idea. Heard it for the first time this weekend. Wholeheartedly endorse it. He says we're measuring wealth the wrong way. It's not how much money a person has. It's how much money other people have due to that person's hard work in building a company. Don't tell me the net worth of some corporate CEO. Tell me the net worth of the people he hired, the people who worked for him, the people that helped him build that wealth. There, I think, is the true worth of an entrepreneur, a business owner, a business starter. Not to what extent they became rich, but how many other people did they help become rich? Think about it. More on that later. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and we got a surprise call in from a customer of ours, Travis, out in Jefferson, Georgia. Travis, good to hear from you, buddy. You want to tell a little bit about the experience you had with me at the honest car guy?
The whole experience, honestly, was one of the smoothest car experiences that we've ever gone through, meaning that there's no pressure. There's no runaround. It's just straight up honest service. The price that you guys present or find for you, that's what you are going to pay. And you just get a great deal. I've been educated to a newer process of the car dealership game. You guys have not come in and you're setting the benchmark for how car dealing and car buying and car selling really should be.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Saying goodbye to a late senator. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. They'll do that this morning and then this afternoon in Washington, honoring Lindsey Graham. In about a half hour,
a hearse will bring Graham's flag-draped casket here. It's one final visit for Graham to Capitol Hill. They will honor him with a ceremony in the rotunda.
That's Fox's Chad Pergram at the Capitol, where senators may vote later today on a Russia sanctions bill Graham had been pushing. The Republican hoped it could end the war in Ukraine, and Graham discussed it with NATO's leader before he died. Mark Rutte just told Fox.
Ukraine is exceeding our expectations. And what we now need to do is what he and I agreed upon is for Putin to end the bloodbath and to come to the negotiating table. It is really crucial.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will also meet with senators tonight after he attends Graham's funeral this afternoon at Washington's National Cathedral. Next hour, Zelensky will meet with President Trump, and then after that, another leader who will attend Graham's funeral goes to the White House for talks with the president. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The pair are slated to discuss
discuss the war with Iran and the next steps in this conflict. President Trump spoke from Air Force One on Monday, indicating the Iranians requested to meet following the 13-day U.S. bombing campaign. Axios reports that President Trump says he is ready for strong military action if talks fail.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. As the pause in U.S. attacks on Iran continues, oil prices, they're down about 1% this morning. The price of the gas pump's down a penny. Japan got rocked with an earthquake, and the USGS says it was a magnitude 6.8 in the Kumamoto region.
Prime Minister Sane Takaichi says there are early reports of injuries plus damage to roads, bridges and buildings. She says people's lives are the top priority, warning residents that strong aftershocks pose an additional risk. We're hearing multiple people are trapped inside a shopping mall and 40,000 people have lost power.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
When it comes to supplements, two things matter most. A, that it works, and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our audience do that. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I want you to hear a few of their stories. Chris spent years doing physical work. It left his feet sore every day at the end of the day. After starting taking Relief Factor, he felt so good he did something he'd never done before. He ran half a marathon. Now he tells his friends about Relief Factor. I'm the same. Totally understand how Chris feels because I do it every day. I tell my friends how I was just with somebody that works at the White House and we were talking about Relief Factor. We're both like, is that not an amazing product? And they make it really easy now for you to find out if you can be the next person that's telling us about Relief Factor and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks, $17.76. Try it. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with their friendly local team, and they'll do everything they can to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us as well. ReliefFactor.com.
If the left made any sense, they would be right. Listen to Extra 106.3.
Great song from Ella Langley, Houston, Texas, which is Bypassed. I Will Always Love You as the song that sat at number one longer than any other. Bypassed Whitney Houston.
Can we talk about how you were an early adopter and when it came to Braves country, you kept telling everybody about, listen, there's also Ella Langley, which you may not have been on board with her just yet, but you're going to find out.
Well, right when so her and Megan Maroney, who's from here, she's a Georgia grad from Douglasville. They kind of started picking up steam at the same time. Megan got out to a big lead, and I kept telling everybody, I was like, I just don't know, y'all. I mean, I like Megan Maroney. She's fine. She's great. You know, lots of pink and sparkly, and the girls and moms go. It's kind of like a Taylor Swift vibe a little bit. I was like, y'all, this one coming behind her. She's a little rough around the edges, girl next door, cute as she can be, not made up necessarily like a Megan Maroney. I was like, if y'all listen to her, I think I might be an Ella fella. And sure enough.
Ella fella.
Oh, I'm an Ella fella.
That's right. Dude, crazy thing about that, because they made T-shirts, Ella fella T-shirts, because she's the first female artist in my recollection, working country radio, first female artist that ever sold merch to dudes. And it's the Ella fella thing. So they bought 60,000. They printed up 60,000 of these, and they sold out overnight to dudes.
Good for her. Merch is where it's at, man.
No, right? That's where you're making all your money. There's no dude that's buying a Megan Maroney T-shirt. None of them.
Ella Langley's stunning.
Yeah, of course she is. Of course she is. Yeah, she is. Absolutely. And so is Megan Maroney. I'm not saying that she's not, because she is. And Megan's music is fine. It's just not made for me.
I'm just giving you the credit. You're the one who called it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You're the
Thank
one
you.
who told everybody, hey, I know she's coming over here.
I'm telling you, man.
Pay attention to this one.
Just keep an ear to it.
You were like 3 months ahead of time.
Dude.
Before the blow up.
To see her be successful like she is, having worked for so long, she's another one of those. There's a great saying about Nashville that it's a decade. It's 10 or 12 years to be an overnight success. And she was working all that. Lainey Wilson the same way, Megan Maroney the same way. And now, 10, 12 years later, from their landing in Nashville and just trying to make it, they finally, hit pay dirt. And it's great. That's the thing. I love Lainey Wilson's music. I love Ella Langley's music. I like Megan Maroney's. It's not anything that I'm going to listen to necessarily. That's not the song that I'm going to pull up to listen to. But I love the fact that she's having success. And right now in country music, it's funny because they're not talking about how Well, the girls never get their due. They never, and now they are, and nobody's talking about it, which is great. It's not like finally the girls get their due. It's just people being successful, which is why it's working.
Did you ever watch The Defiant Ones on HBO?
I didn't.
Okay.
I never even heard of that.
That is a documentary that is made for you. And one of the interesting aspects that it gets into is they were talking about No Doubt. And when No Doubt first hit the scene, the producers and the main record exec said, it's not your time yet. It's like, you need to age a little bit. It's like, in 5-7 years, it's like the depth of what you're doing is going to be bigger. And sure enough, Gwen Stefani was like, 5-7 years later, we wrote Tragic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And boom, everything took off. Because their music hadn't got to that point. Yeah. The depth of it, the maturity of it. Yeah. Right. And so it's true when you hear about it took 10 years to be that kind of success, it's because it takes time to become that kind of a writer, that kind of musician.
How about this? People Magazine, because you bring up Gwen Stefani, People Magazine just did an article about her living on the big ranch and farm that her and her husband, Blake Shelton, have. Think about what she was to pop music and pop punk music and, that 90s alternative scene where she had, dyed hair and she was dressing all crazy, just cute as she can be and really talented. Now People Magazine's doing articles on her growing her own vegetables in Oklahoma. That's what 30 years does.
Things have changed.
Mightily.
Good for her.
Mightily. And it's fun, man. And Blake Shelton, he talks about it. He was like, she's the one that's kind of pushing this. He was like, I'd rather just go buy them at the store. He was like, she's got me out here with a Kubota tractor digging rows so she can plant vegetables. How you would think of the two, it would be Blake Shelton. He's the dude from Oklahoma. He'd be the one out there. Now he knows how to use the equipment, but she's the one leading the charge. The pop punk princess growing carrots in Oklahoma.
It's funny when you get 30 years removed from this stuff. And you see, where are they now?
Dude, think about yourself 30 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
Just would you have ever put yourself right here in this moment? Because I would not have.
I was busy watching the Cowboys win Super Bowl, sir.
Yes, well, exactly. And couldn't wait to talk about it.
Go ahead. You can drive it home.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
No, never. No.
The last time I had just started driving.
No, but
I wanted to make the joke, but I held back.
No, see, that's a good
I know
band.
the pain.
See,
I led you down this path.
I'm never going to spike it down.
Where we were
I take no joy in it. I've seen my teams lose a million times. I take no joy in it. But what I am saying is, could you have imagined that 30 years later you'd be sitting here talking about conservative politics and Dr. Fauci and the things that matter in the world and why they matter and making sure that you're present for your daughters and all those things that what 30 years of life have built you to do?
The comedy that I would point out was that I was hopeful for this after my Major League Baseball career.
Yeah, right. Okay, all right.
But once that did not occur...
There was no way you were thinking about conservative politics. You were thinking about sports talk.
Dude,
weren't you?
I was watching the Rush Limbaugh television show.
Me too.
As a kid at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I never suspected I would
made my mom go buy me the book, The Way Things Ought to Be.
Yeah. I would have never suspected it for myself.
And then as I got more involved as a collegiate athlete, as a student, and got more involved in radio, this was always the plan. I just didn't expect it to turn from sports, and as I was joking around on the golf course yesterday with a couple of the guys, once you tell people when the Pac-12 and the Big Ten decide they're not playing football that it's ridiculous because this is not a threat to any of these young, healthy people, once you said that during COVID, that's when the fate was sealed. I was like, we got to move him over here.
Dude, 30 years ago, I wanted to do the biggest country show that you'd ever say. I wanted to do a national country show. That's what I wanted to do 30 years ago. And then 15 years ago. And then I end up here. I'm like you, man. I was listening to Rush every day, listening to Neil Bortz every day. After I got done with the country show on 101.5, that's immediately. And then I would listen to y'all in the afternoon on 680. That was the daily plan. As soon as I got done talking and playing country music, it was politics through the middle of the day, and then the afternoon with Chuck and Chernoff down the hall.
Goofy fun.
Yeah, good, absolutely.
Little mix of everything.
Right,
sure.
because that was the pressure release, right? You Rush had taught you the things you needed to know. Bortz had probably got you fired up about a few things. And then you're like, okay, it's time to, decompress
Let
a
me
little
settle
bit.
down a little bit, throttle back.
Right, let me go over here and laugh with Los and Hoyt and Chuck and Chernoff.
It's the entire reason why when anyone asks, like, well, what do y'all watch at night? I was like, I don't watch
the
any cable
Braves.
news.
I watch the Braves.
I watch something different.
Every night. I watch the Braves. Sometimes I'll go back and forth between it and Jeopardy.
I'd sooner go to YouTube and find some weird documentary, typically from the History Channel, to be like, ooh, here's one on ancient aliens, or here's one on something that was built in Peru no one can explain. I'm going to watch that.
Dude, I tell you, I just saw a clip of the Jeremy Boring show. I think he was one of the original founders of Daily Wire, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's it. He had a guy on there that used to be dear friends with Tucker Carlson, and they were talking about Tucker, his statement out loud that he felt like he was being attacked by demons. And maybe this morning that sounds crazy to you, but Tucker's a faithful guy, and he said he was being attacked. He could feel it. He could feel what was happening to him. And this guy that was on the Jeremy Boring show told Tucker, I know people that work in this realm. I can get you help. And Tucker turned it down. And his vision of what has happened now is that Tucker is still being attacked. And that's kind of the reason that he's off the rails on the crazy train a little bit. It's a fascinating conversation. I don't know if you believe it or not. I don't know if I believe it or not, but I'll be watching that along with the Braves and stuff. I don't give a crap about MSNBC or MS Now or Fox News.
If I may, I do think at times we create our own demons.
Oh, me too. Me too. Absolutely.
I think that's what's happened with Tucker Carlson.
But I think it's part of probably something bigger.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I believe in aliens. I don't know. Is it possible? Sure. One thing I know I believe in, angels and demons. I believe in that. Because I've seen it. And it's not the person. It took me a long time. Talking about 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I probably thought the devil looked like on, the person on the side of a potted meat can, with horns and a tail. And now I realize that it just looks like a regular person, maybe like a Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, can come to you looking like just a normal, friendly person.
Absolutely right. Let's get to that discussion in the first thing to know this morning.
Morning, man. Along the airwaves I do ride, with facts and fire by my side. Many a liberal lost their arguments to my truth. Many a snowflake melted down right in their booth. They tried to cancel me back in 2025, but the Morning Xtra's still alive.
I want to give credit where credit is due. And I want to call this person the Morning Xtra Zone.
We had him on, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's been a while.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And at the time, 3 years ago, I remember bringing up with Senator Rand Paul. I talked about how, please stay on this. Please stay as the one person who continues to be a doctor in the Senate. And again, there's more. But he was one of the people that was pointing at, for instance, gain-of-function research and explaining everything that Fauci just told us is a lie. He's like, Fauci, at the time, when he was asked about gain-of-function research, was trying to redefine it in front of the Senate. And when Rand Paul clarified, no, that's not the case, here's what it is, now it became an argument where Anthony Fauci told him, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, come to find out, no, Anthony Fauci really knew that he was in trouble here. And so this isn't about destroying Anthony Fauci. I mean, yes, I want to do that. But in this segment, I think this is about giving credit to Rand Paul for even when he was told a multitude of times there's nothing here. And, oh, by the way, Biden gave him a pardon. The guy has done this in the interest of history. Is Fauci going to go to prison? No. Does he deserve to be thrown at the bottom of a well? Yeah. If there was such a thing as a public hanging anymore, would somebody deserve it? Yeah. If you are responsible for 1 million Americans dead, 5 million people around the world, WHO numbers, then yeah, having your neck strung out on pay-per-view is probably warranted. But given that none of that's going to happen, this is about getting the history right. And Rand Paul is doing the work so that we can have a proper account of this entire history.
And you got to be satisfied with knowing the truth. It's kind of like we brought, and this is not to derail us, but it's the same. I feel like it's the same kind of scenario when Rick Jackson was in and we talked to him about opening the book so everybody can see what happened in 2020. We all know something happened. What was it? How much? Don't know.
Explain it all.
Just explain it all. That way we can get by it. That way we can look back and go, okay, that was a very dark time. That was terrible what was happening in Georgia, around the world, around the country. And I feel like it's the same way with Rand Paul. Just lay it all out there. We know he's not going to get in trouble. We know nobody's going to get in trouble for 2020. But at a minimum, we now have the transparency to say, okay, we know what happened. We can't let that happen again. We know what to look for.
My contention has always been that if you do not punish anyone with this, you don't create an atmosphere where the next person's going to feel bad about doing this.
Or scared to do it.
Now, the problem ends up being is that the same person who was responsible for killing the amount of people during the AIDS epidemic was the same person who was in charge when this pandemic came around. We realize how silly that is, that at no point...
That he got to do it twice.
That he got to do it twice.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
That when you had people that were looking at the scenario in front of them and saying, well, this is a virus that's attacking my immune system. I have to do everything I can to strengthen my immune system in order to keep HIV at bay or to deal with AIDS. And yet, Anthony Fauci was pumping a cancer drug that was destroying people's immune systems and killing them faster. And then we got remdesivir.
Yeah.
And then we got all of those treatments that were shutting down the kidneys, causing renal failure, and killing people in the hospital. In fact, I'm willing to bet, if we really got through it, the amount of people that died in the hospital, I think the numbers are pretty significant, is that the treatment killed them.
That's awful. It's awful to think.
That's what it became.
Right.
And so that's where I think it's so important for Rand Paul to just have this honesty, this information, because there will be some people, and I don't know who they're going to be, but there will be some people that are going to read through this stuff or see this somewhere, and it's going to change their mind about who Anthony Fauci is and realize he truly is the monster that some of us identified years ago, that Robert F. Kennedy had figured out years ago. I felt comfortable enough at Governor's Gun Club in February of 2022 to get on a stage in front of 300, 400 people in that audience. And underneath my jacket was a cartoon of Anthony Fauci wearing a clown nose, and not a little one.
It covered his whole face, really.
It covered my whole chest. I'm like, there it is. You know,
and the clown nose covered his whole face.
From belly button to neck was a giant picture of Anthony Fauci with a clown nose. And that was 2022. And to think, I'd already felt that way for more than a year and a half. Mm-hmm. I'd had that shirt since like 2021.
Crazy.
I felt like that, but I think that's what Rand Paul gets a chance to do. He gets a chance to tell the history.
And be vindicated.
Yeah.
Because people were telling him, there are people saying, let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Enough's enough. We've seen enough. Nothing's there. Until there was.
You know what the importance, not just the punishment of Nuremberg was and the Nuremberg trials? It was a chance to show on the world stage what had occurred, what the Nazis had done. It was the first time you actually had film crews that showed off the documentary work of the labor camps and the death camps that they had gone to. And to show the world, this is what these people did. This is what they were responsible for. Now, you didn't get them all.
No, you won't. And you won't.
And you won't. And yeah, you did make sure to hang a bunch of them. But it was about setting the record straight that these people were telling you that these were just orders or this stuff never happened. Mm-hmm. You got to show the world what occurred. And I think that's the important part of this.
No, me too. But
Rand Paul doing this.
Me too. But I worry that the problem is no one facing anything here, which I'm like you, man. I don't expect anybody to of any consequence to face any punishment. Kind of wipes out the punishment of Nuremberg because he goes, oh, okay. Well, yeah, way back then, they did something about things. Nowadays, not so much.
I hope for the OJ moment. And this isn't comparing you to OJ like I did yesterday.
Oh, my.
I said, like, as a father, it's like, you really remind me of OJ Simpson.
That's a backhanded compliment.
What a strange compliment. Why'd you say that about me? No, OJ was ostracized from society after 1994.
Yep.
And granted, then he gets into the trouble he gets into in Vegas, and he does 8 years for that. And that should never have been a case that he got 8 years for. That was justice being done in the interest of justice, not previously being done.
Mm-hmm.
But what did he do? He died largely as a leper, as a guy you couldn't have in society any longer. He was the murderer who had gotten away with it. A civil jury in a civil trial found him responsible for the deaths of 2 people. I think for somebody who is so consumed with celebrity and being famous in Anthony Fauci, showing everybody who he truly is,
so important.
Might be your only way to have some form of justice. In the same way that OJ went from everybody's best friend, isotoner and Hertz, to you can't have him anywhere in society.
And maybe, just maybe, there will be a chance. I'm not banking on it, and I'm not asking you to bank on it. But maybe somewhere in a state court or a civil court, Anthony Fauci is held to account in some way. You can't do it on a federal level. The pardon there's no way the pardon's going to be batted down or worked around.
There's only one thing you can do, and that's if you catch him in a lie, if he lies to this hearing, then he is prosecutable.
You mean at the federal level?
At the federal level for that. But we're not going to see
He's not saying anything. No. He's not saying anything tomorrow. Now, if you go back and get him...
Well, by the way, from what I understand, he can't plead the 5th either.
Right, because of the pardon.
Yes.
I don't know how it all shakes out, but maybe somebody like a Ron DeSantis, somebody with... or a Rand Paul that has the courage to continue the fight will, and you will finally get some justice. Will it be what it's deserved? No. But for him to be the leper that Los is talking about, or to be punished civilly or on a state court, I think people will take some satisfaction is not the right word, but I'll use it. Satisfaction in the fact that he's held somewhat accountable.
Thank you, Senator Rand Paul.
We owe you, sir. When we come back on Extra 106.3, America trusts Trump. According to CNN? What? Next on Extra.
Support the advertisers and partners that share your values. Give our Extra advertisers the first shot to earn your business. They will deliver for you every time and support the Extra community like no one else. Connect with all of our partners online at extra1063.com.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road, and with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett has it for you. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right size SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
When you retire, you walk away from meetings, deadlines, and spreadsheets. But you know what you also walk away from? Your paycheck. So now what? You call Evan Ward and the team at Atlas Retirement. Evan's main focus has always been protecting what you have and building a paycheck that comes in every month. Call today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with Evan Ward and Atlas Retirement. 678-252-5224.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Take a pause.
Stress and financial struggles have left the U.S. with a shortage of veterinarians.
There's a crunch everywhere, and in particular, there's a shortage within the animal welfare space, within community-based medicine, helping people who cannot afford really to access the veterinarian regularly.
The ASPCA's president, Matt Bershatker, says they're working to change that with their veterinary scholarship program. 41 veterinary and vet tech students are getting scholarships this year, ranging from $20,000 to $100,000. Graduates then spend 3 years working in shelter medicine or other programs.
It's tremendously rewarding because you come to work every day and you leave work every day knowing that you made a difference.
He says the scholarships will be given out for years.
This is a program that we want to put in place until the vet shortage is relieved.
Find out more by doing a search on ASPCA Scholars. Take a pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
It's July 28th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Milk Chocolate Day. From chocolate bars to many of our favorite baked goods, even as toppings on drinks, milk chocolate has been making our lives sweeter for hundreds of years. Swiss chocolatier Daniel Peter is believed to have made the first successful milk chocolate in 1875, which would go on to become the first commercially sold chocolate in the world. Also on this date, in 1868, U.S. Secretary of State William Seward announced the ratification of the 14th Amendment, which granted citizenship for all former slaves. And in 1933,
happy birthday wishes to you.
the first singing telegram was delivered by a Western Union operator named Lucille Lips. She sang happy birthday to Mr. Rudy Valley. If it's your birthday today, you share it with Basketball Hall of Famer and former Senator Bill Bradley, born in 1943. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, July 28th, and here are your headlines. Newly released diary entries from Dr. Anthony Fauci detail frequent communications with several prominent journalists during the COVID-19 pandemic. The entries released by Senator Rand Paul describe Fauci's interactions with CNN's Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, NBC's Chuck Todd, and ABC's George Stephanopoulos, including media strategy discussions as well as personal meetings. With 100 days to go until the midterms election, both parties are beginning to ramp up campaigns as they get ready to try and take control of Congress. Democrats need to gain 3 House seats and 4 Senate seats, while a new Washington Post poll shows Democrats holding a 3-point lead on the generic congressional ballot ahead of the November elections. And finally, gas prices are continuing to climb across metro Atlanta. AA says the average price for gas is now $3.92 a gallon, up 15 cents just from last week, and more than 35 cents higher than 1 month ago, with Fulton County topping the metro area at just over $4 a gallon on average. It'll be partly cloudy, hot and humid today, with a high of 94 and a low of 76. Your Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT.com. Appreciate you being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Before we get and go by the numbers, we were all right. This is a great tweet from Liz Wheeler. Social distancing was a hoax. Masks were a joke. Lockdowns worthless. mRNA jabs dangerous. Case fatality rate low. Ivermectin worked. Hydroxychloroquine worked. Remdesivir was a killer. COVID came from a Wuhan lab. Fauci funded it, then lied about it, then profited off of him, abused you to bolster his ego, money, and power, and put a despicable villain. Put the despicable villain in prison. Which, look, Liz, I'm with you on everything except that one, because that ain't gonna happen. I wish it were. I wish it would. But she's not wrong, man. She went through that whole list, and everything she said is correct. We learned that from his own diary.
He said it himself.
Mm-hmm. Over and over again.
He pointed it out himself.
Over and over again. And yet, when he went on TV at night, he did the exact opposite. He told you the exact opposite, knowing the truth.
2 quick questions.
Yeah, man.
So if he lied in his you can pull a clip of him saying one thing, go back in his diary.
You talking about in past?
Correct.
In front of Congress in the past?
Nothing can happen with
I don't know how that works. Just to be completely frank, I don't know. But I would imagine that the pardon because much like don't they go back 10 years?
That's what
wasn't that the thing that Biden did? All of their pardons go back 10 years, so that would wipe away any of that. If I'm right about that.
And then the other thing I'm curious about, if he were to face penalties at the state level, what's the max that he could get? Like
again,
what would that look like?
Not being a legal guy, I don't know. I hope it's the maximum you can possibly. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know that it's ever. I don't know if it's ever been tried, anything even like it.
Compared at a federal level, I just feel like the penalties are just going to be more of a slap on the wrist than anything.
I mean, it depends. I guess it depends on who's prosecuting it, how aggressive they want to be with it, and what are you trying to prove by doing it. And wherever your heart is there will lead you to, how you levy charges, and then what the punishment. You're going to take the highest, the most serious charge to try to get the longest sentence, is my guess. If somebody were to do that, and I don't know that they will. I certainly hope they do. We'll see. 404-741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. Let's go by the numbers.
I'll be all right as long as there's light from a math dude. Most people don't like math, they run from the sun.
I am typically one of those people. Some makes me nervous. We did a whole segment.
What is this sum?
It makes me frightened. I took remedial math in college. You're told every night that no one trusts Donald Trump. And I'm going to go with an old, maybe Chris Berman. Not so fast. Not so fast, my friend. Oh, no, that's not Chris Berman. That's actually Coach Corso. Thank you. Not so fast, my friend. Let's go by the numbers here on the way that people look at Donald Trump and Democrats when it comes to the war in Iran.
Johnny B is not the only one who's surprised. You would be looking at all the news coverage, you'd be looking at all the polling on President Trump, and you would think that Democrats would be able to take advantage and be dominating Republicans when it comes to who is trusted to handle the Iran war. That, simply put, is not the case at all. I mean, these numbers are quite surprising. Trust Dems or Republicans on Iran. According to CNBC earlier this month, you'd think, okay, that's one poll. The Republicans trusted by 2 points. But then CBS News comes out yesterday, and what do you see? You see the exact same thing. Trump and the Republicans take the cake. They are trusted by 2 points on Iran. Now, one poll is one thing, but you put the two of them together, and you can see that the American people, simply put, are not buying what Democrats are selling on Iran. They still trust Republicans more, even if you look at President Trump's approval ratings on the subject, and they're negative too, but yet Republicans and Trump still more trusted than Democrats are in Iran.
Has there been any change over time?
No, and this is even more surprising, right? You might think, okay, as the war has gone on and on and on, you might think, hey, the Democrats would be gaining ground in terms of trust that the American people would give them on Iran. If anything, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. Trust Democrats or Republicans more in Iran. In April, according to a Washington Post Ipsos poll, the Democrats were more trusted by 2 points. Again, close margin, no clear leader. But look where the shift has been. If anything, the shift has been in the Republican direction. Now the Republicans and Donald Trump are trusted more by 2 points on Iran. So, again, over the course of the war, if anything, the Republicans have been the ones that have been gaining ground, which I think just goes so opposed to all of the news coverage that we have seen so far and all of, the media. You would think, hey, but no, the American people are actually trusting the Republicans and Trump, if anything, more now than they were, so let's say, halfway through the war.
How about that? They tell you every night Donald Trump is not trusted on this war, and this war is not popular. One thing I can tell you is CNN, not Fox News, not News Nation or Newsmax or Real America's Voice, which tend to be more conservative outlets, if you will. CNN is telling you that the American people do not trust Democrats when it comes to national defense. Why would they? They kicked open the border for 4 years and allowed millions of people in with no vetting whatsoever. Why would you trust them on anything, especially when it comes to executing a war?
There's three things that are going on here. One, this is not some operation that is wildly popular. Get that. That's how it's going to be. Two, the MAGA base has not moved away from Donald Trump. And three, there has been no benefit to the Democrat Party for this operation in Iran. It's not like they've picked up some crazy momentum. In fact, the way that the American public views it, just as Harriet is saying, is I don't like that we're doing it, but that we are, I'd prefer it be done by these people rather than these.
Because the first group that were in office for the last 4 years, they had military men and women that believed themselves to be the opposite sex. So you're dealing with people that are struggling with mental illness to begin with. And that's who you're going to put up there in front of me and tell me that they know they're going to lead this operation against the Iranians? Please. I don't need somebody with a mental illness. Does that mean that I have disdain for them? No, I hope they get the help that they need. But you can't tell me that a man in a dress can lead a war effort. No. You just can't convince me of that.
It's still the same thing that we talked about when we said, what are the Democrat options for president? We just talked about it's presentation oriented. It's very hard to be in a leadership position and be a commander of men, talk about discipline, yet you don't have the discipline to not be in a dress or to be extremely large.
That's right.
It's part of it. And so it doesn't matter if this might be the greatest tactician in military history. It's a man in a dress, and they all know it.
And then you add in a man that led the Department of Defense in Lloyd Austin that disappeared. You're telling me the guy that didn't tell anybody that he was having heart surgery and went AWOL, you're telling me that's the guy you want?
It's a violation of the chain of command.
Of course it is.
Because you left the chain of command open.
You told me that I can get away with this. Nobody will notice. The most important person in the military chain of command just disappears. He calls his assistant secretary of defense and says, hey, you know what? I'm going to be out a day or two, going to leave the con with you, okay? She's on a beach trip. When Lloyd Austin called the assistant Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense, the woman was on leave at the beach. And he said, I'm going to leave you in charge. I'm going to be out a few days getting surgery. Hey, have you told anybody? Well, no. Didn't bring that up. So you're telling me that those bumbling buffoons, that's who you're going to trust on Iran? No, you're right. Maybe people are not in favor of the intervention here. Maybe they don't get the wisdom. But they certainly know who needs to be in charge now that we're executing it.
It's in a very similar vein that we have when you start talking about border security. Everyone knows we need enhanced border security. We know that one end is not interested in doing any of it. In fact, Joe Biden told us all that he needed an act of Congress to act. Didn't need an act of Congress. It was just policy change.
That's right.
That's all in order to secure your border. Immigration continues to be one of those issues that the Democrats cannot campaign on. They have no chance at it. And so this was supposed to be the next one, like, ooh, the Republicans gave us a chance here with this Iranian conflict, and here's what we're going to be able to, we got a crack at the door.
Yeah.
No, you're not trusted on this.
At all. Why would you be?
What are you trusted on? You're trusted on bringing illegals in and making sure that there are more abortions in the country.
Handouts. Don't forget those.
Oh, yes. Handouts for illegals.
Yes, that's right. You'll be trusted on
What
those.
is my high trust factor?
Yeah.
Oh, it happens to be here.
It's quite low. I don't trust the Democrats on anything because they've shown me over and over again that I shouldn't. And here's the thing. If it were a good idea, I don't care that it comes from a Democrat. If it was a good idea presented, I'd be like, that's a good idea. I wish we would have thought of it. But I would be in support of whatever said good idea is. I've just not seen any. I've seen a bunch of people that talk about communism and getting rid of the Senate and ditching the Constitution and getting rid of ICE and shutting down the Department of Defense. So you're telling me that I should trust the people that just told me yesterday they want to shut down the Department of Defense to execute a war? Of course not.
Well, this has been the argument, and this is where Hakeem Jeffries doesn't score the points when he does the Sunday shows. He's consistently asked for a vision, and his vision is always, well, it's anti-Donald Trump. Whatever Donald Trump is into, we're against. All right, well, you need a better pathway forward. You're trying to get people to jump on board with showing up at the polls for you. I don't believe that after a decade that fuel of TDS will draw enough people. Certainly did in 2024.
Definitely not.
It's like, yeah, you're excited about your crazy Aunt Pegs and how fervent they are to get out and vote. Well, anger burns out, man.
Sure does.
You can't have pure anger fueling your politics for a decade. It just doesn't. It burns out eventually. So what is your vision? that you're offering to the country that's an alternative to what's going on, and that you do not have.
and the people that are on your side talking about that vision comes off as crackpots.
Yeah.
Absolute cuckoo. And we're going to get rid of the Senate. That's what you're leading with?
Great idea.
That's what you're leading with?
By the way, and you've seen what happens on those people who they've only spent their time indulging in anger. It's the Rosie O'Donnells of the world. Rosie looks like she's aged 20 years in the past decade.
Yep. It's crazy, crazy. That's why CNN had to bring it to you. The numbers don't lie, man. They could try to present them any which way they want to. The numbers don't lie. There's a reason that people don't trust Donald Trump in Iran and not the Democrats. When we come back, well, that makes one of us a presidential candidate has an unusual opinion about Joe Biden. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, July 28th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the opening game of their 3-game series in New York to the Mets last night. 14-3, the final. Some good news, Ronald Acuna Jr. did have a hit in his return to the lineup from the injured list. As for tonight, it'll be Chris Sale on the mound against Christian Scott. First pitch is set for 7:10. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Atlanta Falcons training camp begins today as the veterans will report to the team. The rookies reported to Flowery Branch last week. Full practices open to the public will begin this Friday. Around the league, Tampa Bay Buccaneer defensive tackle Vita Vea is requesting a trade from the team after contract talks stalled over the weekend for the two-time Pro Bowler. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So you got into an argument. Things got heated. Then a fight broke out, and it landed you in jail. Now what? You need A Second Chance Bail Bonds. They can get you or your loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a few hours. So make the right call. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
It's Toyota's Big One sales event at Marietta Toyota now through August 3rd. And if you commute every day, the 2026 Toyota Camry may be the one to see first. It's now all hybrid with up to 53 miles per gallon city, an easy way to cut fuel stops without giving up comfort. And with 50 Camrys in stock, Marietta Toyota has the selection to help you find the trim and color you actually want. Every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, limited time, and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we've been voted Best of Cobb for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. For well-qualified buyers, special financing is available on the new 2026 Camry Hybrid. As low as 4.99% APR for 48 months through August 3rd. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
4.99% APR for 48 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers qualify. Offer ends 8/3/2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, and title, and include $699 dock fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
Hey, it's Drake Baldwin. Everyone knows my winning team on the field, but when there's no hot water, I need a win at my home base. When it comes to plumbing, my winning team is Superior. Superior Plumbing is there whenever I need a leak repaired, toilet replaced, or a water heater installed. For over 40 years, they've been Atlanta's go-to plumbers. And Superior is still locally owned. For Superior, there's no job too small.
For Superior, the honest one, call 770-422 Plum.
Securing America.
Army Sergeant Michael Swinton was killed in action recently during the controlled demolition of a downed Iranian drone in Iraq. His wife, Mia, spoke to Fox and Friends first Monday, telling the nation about her husband.
He cared about anyone he crossed paths with.
Mrs. Swinton added that her husband truly believed in what he was doing.
He really trusted, the country's leadership to get things right, despite everything that was going on.
And she thanked the Army for its support following her loss.
My community has been so supportive, and I appreciate everything they've been doing for us.
As for how she wants her husband to be remembered, Mia Swinton said,
The man he was, he loved his family, he cared for his friends, and I just don't want anybody to forget him.
In addition to his wife, Sergeant Swinton leaves behind a 6-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. Kevin Retzky, Fox News.
The American dream is alive and well with the Victor Armendariz Show. Raised a first-generation American, Victor is a Mexican who grew up witnessing his father achieve the American dream. You will not get spin here, just the facts and opinion from someone who absolutely believes in American exceptionalism. The Victor Armendariz Show. Always available at thepodcastpark.com and streaming free on the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los on Extra 106.3, 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. What's up? Good morning. Country call out to the extras on our YouTube channel. Always want to give you all some love. We appreciate you being there. Appreciate you being
Throw it
there.
up.
That's right. That's right. That's our gang sign. Is that what
I love that.
Sorry, that was my Des Bryant moment.
Oh, got it.
Y'all are the extras.
That's right. I like it. It is good. It is good. I like it. You wonder if we can get them to do it too.
Des caught it.
Yeah. Come on.
He threw up that X.
That's right. Let's go.
Was he your favorite Cowboy receiver?
Oh, no. No, Michael still has that special place. But Des was quite loved.
Who's your all-time favorite Cowboy?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Can you narrow it to one?
There's just different eras. I mean, I loved Emmitt Smith growing up. I thought that you gave him the ball 28 times a game, you won no matter what. I never thought about the causation, or the correlation between that of no, you gave it to him 28 times because you're ahead.
Yeah.
So he ran out the clock. But then I loved DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
That's another player that was right in that era when he was drafted. That was my final training camp before moving to Atlanta. And I remember going that dude looks like a total freak athlete.
Dude, unreal. Sure enough, I just pulled up this picture. Holy cow. Freaking Hall of Famer.
Yep, Hall of Famer. He's a great player and a good dude.
Yeah, I never met him. But what isn't he from around here? Let's see.
He went to Troy at the time. It was Troy State. Yeah, he's an Auburn. Actually, he was
from Auburn.
He's an Auburn, Alabama kid that did not draw offers. He went to Troy State and just developed into a complete monster who got taken that high in the draft.
Dude, you have that, and then this year Troy did so well in baseball. There's something down there at that little school.
Yeah,
man.
Troy had a really good run.
They put in the water.
Yeah, something definitely. But I knew just enough about DeMarcus Ware because I don't know a whole lot, but I knew he was from around somewhere around this way.
I want you to YouTube when you get a chance to, maybe during the next break.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube DeMarcus Ware Mike Vick interception. It was a Saturday night here in Atlanta, and it's one of the most athletic plays I've ever seen a man that size make, and it was against Mike Vick, who
was
just his most elusive athlete, to play quarterback in NFL history, even more so than like a Randall Cunningham or even even now when we kind of go and say, okay, like Lamar Jackson's incredibly elusive. Michael Vick was a whole other level, and DeMarcus Ware picked him off.
Dude, yeah, it was crazy. I'll look it up for sure, see if we can't take some enjoyment out of seeing good athletic football. Because I loved Mike Vick, man.
I'm so ready for football to be back.
Dude, I was such a Mike Vick fan.
I wish I knew more, like I was older.
Well, so I was kind of fresh out of the Navy. It hadn't been that long. And being stationed in Virginia, I knew of him being at Virginia Tech, and all that sort of stuff. And then, he comes to Atlanta, and it was like nothing I'd ever seen. As a guy that, grew up, I was more of a college football guy, but the Falcons were kind of like, in the background. It'd be on the TV on Sundays or whatever. It wasn't anything that we're super married to, like we were college sports. But that drew me in more than anything else in Falcons history, drew me in watching Mike Vick play.
Oh, I remember I was in a hotel room in college we were playing a series, and the first round of the NFL draft was going to be coming around the next morning, and that was the trade day where the Falcons moved up from 5-1, and basically that was going to be Mike Vick. And the amount of buzz just on a college baseball team in the state of Texas that couldn't wait to see this guy play in the NFL, and he was going to be an Atlanta Falcon, was like, okay.
Wow.
Sounds cool, because the thought was, well, he's going to go to San Diego. And once he's out in San Diego, well,
might not see much of him.
And quite honestly, the only reason he ended up not being in San Diego was because of Ryan Leaf. They already felt burned by, hey, we took a guy, and it didn't work out. And now, it worked out for them, too, by the way. They took LaDainian Tomlinson, Hall of Famer, 5th overall, and with the top pick in the second round, they took Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Worked out fine for them.
Ended up doing all right.
Yeah.
But I remember, so being there in Norfolk, Virginia, and, he was at least partially at Norfolk State for a while, then ended up at Virginia Tech. And he's from Newport News, which is where, the shipyards. So the aura, the Mike Vick hype train was there where I was stationed, where I was living. So you saw him everywhere. You're like, this dude is going to make a difference. And then, so, me being a guy from here, you see him come to Atlanta, you're like, uh-oh, I know about this dude. And that was probably the first person I've ever been early on, you know what I mean?
At the time, and this is more for
Ella
Bryce.
Langley.
Yeah, right, in Ella, right.
At the time, they had 3 quarterbacks from that area. One was Allen Iverson. One was Mike Vick. One was another guy who ended up playing basketball in Ronald Curry. And these were like the 3 superstars. And obviously, Iverson did what he did. Vick did what he did. And Ron Curry, it just never took off for him. But those were the guys that were like, these guys are going to change all of football. Well, Mike did.
Yeah.
And Allen kind of changed some basketball.
He changed the league.
Yeah.
Definitely. Dude, it was so
and
much
his
fun.
name to Ron Mexico.
Well, yeah, Vic did that too, yes. You had to bring that one up, didn't you? Dude, that was so much. It was so funny.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. Kamala Harris, she's got some unusual recollections of Joe Biden that I don't think I have.
All right, this is how she's going to play this. And we talked about how the Democrat Party is going to lay at the feet of Joe Biden everything when it comes to immigration. Like, that was Joe's. That's the way they're going to do it to get past that. What Kamala Harris, if she is going to be a candidate in 2028, and Andrew Yang says she's going to, they believe she's going to be at the top of the ticket, she's going to have to explain the albatross around her neck, which is, why was Joe Biden okay to be the president, but he couldn't run for president again in 2024, right? Because remember, even when he announced he wasn't seeking another term, they let him still play at the controls. They gave him the Fisher-Price headset and said, here, you're still in charge. So you've got to come up with a reason for this. Well, Kamala Harris went on the Jon Stewart show. This is what she's going to go with. This is what we're going to hear for the next couple of years. Here was a differentiation she has now made between Joe Biden as a candidate and as a president.
And I don't mean that in the personal sense of not ready. I meant it more in the sense of the policies that he wanted to implement or the way that they were implemented or the governance obstacles more than the competence conversation.
Yo, I'm not talking about competence. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about competence at all. No, I believe he was fully competent to serve.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
That surprises me, actually.
No, I do. There's a distinction to be made between running for president and being president.
What's the distinction?
Well, being a candidate for president of the United States is about being in a marathon at a sprinter's pace, having tomatoes thrown at you every step you take.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's more than a notion.
Get involved in public service, ladies and gentlemen.
And to be the seated president, the sitting president, while doing that, it's a lot.
She is now drawing the distinction that it's harder to run for president than to be president. And that's why what she was doing and the moves that were made, especially when it comes to her, were correct. It was too hard for Joe to run, but he was competent as a president.
And you and I both know, and you listening right now, that he wasn't running anything. So, yeah, probably in her eyes, they were doing it all in his name. He wasn't doing anything. So, yeah, it probably is easier.
Reportedly. It wasn't like she was part of this thing either.
No, of course. That's why to her,
yeah,
this actually is probably real.
She was left on the outside looking in. So, yeah, that's going to be for the next several years when this question comes up. She's going to push it that Joe was competent as a president, but he was incapable of running for president again. Not that he ran in 2020 to start with either.
Yeah, he was in the basement the whole time.
It is nice, straightforward, and simple.
I mean, that man went on a show and said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And they said, that's about enough. That's about enough. No more.
Pipe down, old man. The list of Fauci media partners. Next on Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, I guess it's pretty easy to hate Jeff Bezos, especially if you're into hating people more successful than you are. And maybe a good reason to say capitalism is terrible. Look what he's done to retail and shopping malls. Anyway, let me tell you something about Bezos. I didn't know, learned it over the weekend. When Bezos started Amazon, he was working at a table in a garage. Finally, he could pay himself a salary, $80,000 a year. And that was his salary up to and through his tenure as the CEO of Amazon. $80,000 a year. Never took more. Yeah, he's worth over $200 billion. Why is that? Because while he was drawing down a salary of $80,000 a year, he built a company that's worth, his share, $200 and some billion. But he left the money in the company to build the company and create very wealthy employees and retirees. Jeff Bezos has an idea. Heard it for the first time this weekend, wholeheartedly endorse it. He says we're measuring wealth the wrong way. It's not how much money a person has. It's how much money other people have due to that person's hard work in building a company. Don't tell me the net worth of some corporate CEO. Tell me the net worth of the people he hired, the people who worked for him, the people that helped him build that wealth. There, I think, is the true worth of an entrepreneur, a business owner, a business starter. Not to what extent they became rich, but how many other people did they help become rich? Think about it. More on that later. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
And now, Deep Thoughts with Neil Bortz.
If clouds are water, why don't we see fish in the sky?
An Extra 106.3 AI exclusive. The Morning Extra. Every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Extra 106.3.
Paying tribute to Lindsey Graham. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
He was a great guy. He was a great politician, actually. People don't understand he really was. He was able to bring people together.
President Trump, a short time ago on Fox and Friends, as a flag-draped casket carrying the late senator goes to the U.S. Capitol this morning.
Note that he is not lying in state or honor, but they're doing a special ceremony in the rotunda for Lindsey Graham. They've never done it this way before.
Fox's Chad Pergram at the Capitol.
We expect this ceremony to only go for about 30 minutes. They will then take the casket out, put it back in the hearse, and then go out to the National Cathedral.
That is where there's a funeral President Trump will speak at this afternoon. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will also attend. And this morning, both leaders will meet with President Trump at the White House. First, Zelensky talking about the Russia war, then Netanyahu discussing the Iran conflict. The president also tells Fox he's still hoping for a deal with Iran, but if talks fail, the U.S. attacks will be worse.
I would say in 2 hours, most of the bridges, the major bridges, will all be gone. And the power plants in 1 day. And, you know, if I can avoid doing that, I'd like to do that.
And the president insists he won't let Iran get a nuclear weapon and tells Fox the Strait of Hormuz will be open for shipping.
We control the strait. Now, they can drop a couple of mines in there and screw things up, but we control the strait. Our Navy is incredible. Not one ship has gotten to Iran during any time where we had the blockades.
And oil prices, they're down about 2% again this morning. It is day 3 of the search for suspect number 3 in Sunday night's Seattle shooting that sent panicked people running and hiding at a food festival. 3 shot dead, 4 wounded.
We will leave no stone unturned to bring all of those who may be involved to justice.
That's Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. One of the gunmen is among the dead. Another accused shooter, a 15-year-old, is in custody. America's listening to Fox News.
When it comes to supplements, 2 things matter most. A, that it works, and that you can trust it. Rather than just tell you about Relief Factor, we'll let our audience do that. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, and I want you to hear a few of their stories. Chris spent years doing physical work. It left his feet sore every day at the end of the day. After starting taking Relief Factor, he felt so good he did something he'd never done before. He ran half a marathon. Now he tells his friends about Relief Factor. I'm the same. Totally understand how Chris feels because I do it every day. I tell my friends how I was just with somebody that works at the White House and we were talking about Relief Factor. We're both like, is that not an amazing product? And they make it really easy now for you to find out if you can be the next person that's telling us about Relief Factor and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks, $17.76. Try it. ReliefFactor.com, 800-4RELIEF. You'll connect with their friendly local team, and they'll do everything they can to help. We hope you soon will be sharing your story with us as well. ReliefFactor.com.
You may have seen the Ports billboard all across town. Let everyone know Ports is back, and his new home is Xtra 106.3.
I was a highwayman. Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. I thought we're into the first thing to know already.
Well, you can't double them up at this point.
Seriously, I was about... Like, oh, man, we are jump starting right out of the gate. 9 o'clock hour, you never can tell which way.
I had to hear the original.
Yeah, no, look, it's great. I love it. But we have a first thing to know.
It was inspired by the
song. That's right.
Last time, so we played it last hour. I had it in queue in here, listening to the whole thing. Oh, the lyrics,
so good.
The music. Oh,
yeah.
I might download it on the way home.
I might download it on the way home. Do you want to do a segment where we go through some of our songs?
Yeah. And where the inspiration came from? Yeah,
the origins.
Yeah, because there's a Toby Keith in there. There's a Highwayman in there. There's a Ray Charles and Willie Nelson.
There's a Roxette.
Yep, that's
There's
right.
a lot of random stuff that we've put together over the years.
Well, you're kind of say, wait, you've put together.
Well, it was again
for us.
It's all inspired by the show.
That's right.
Because oftentimes when Tug says something, I'll be like, oh, I need to work that into a song.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like your entire talking point about, and by the way, it's Morning Xtra. Hey, I'm Los. That's Tug. We'll be taking you till 10 o'clock. When you brought up the story of kind of closing the loop of your dad going to the MLB All-Star game in the 70s, and here was your chance, and the man has passed, but you were like, here's a chance that I've done something that my dad did, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me.
And then we started joking around that day about Cats in the Cradle. Yeah. And for some reason, that then stuck out.
It's so good.
It wasn't, the joke was like, yeah, Tug's dad went for cigarettes. He never came back. No, that never happened.
I don't know what happened.
But in some of the songs, we have some of these jokes in there.
Dude, it's so good. It makes it so funny. We try to plant little I don't know what
little
you call-
Easter eggs.
Little Easter eggs. Yeah, that's the right way.
If
to
you
put it,
listen to the show, you go, "Oh, I get that joke."
Oh, I know that. I know where that comes from.
Kimmer fell down again.
Yeah, come
Kimmer's
on.
never fallen down
Ever. And he doesn't need a leg that we know of.
He sent me a video during the break. We were talking about running backs, and it was a picture of him playing golf with a couple of guys. And Kimmer had a beard back then.
Oh, wow. Who were the guys? Were they famous football players?
One was Archie Manning.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. Let me listen to it again, and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Well, Archie Manning, it's a man who's done the golf circuit for quite a while.
Well, but football royalty,
Football
too.
royalty in the South.
Oh, my gosh. And all the way down to his son, or his grandson, rather, that's at Texas now, man. The media, and Texas, too, they want this kid to be a star, and he probably will be. I don't have any doubts of his ability or any of that stuff.
Arch Manning's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2027 NFL
and
draft.
he's going to continue the Manning name in the NFL at the next level. And it's fun to watch, man, because I think, that family has such a thumbprint on the SEC, whether Tennessee or Ole Miss, now Texas. It's a big deal. That name is a huge deal in SEC football.
And I do think it is also a pretty cool scenario that Arch Manning went to Texas, and then Texas is like, and now we're joining the SEC. It was like, oh, like he kind of went to go do his own thing.
Yeah.
And we brought you right back in.
Reeled you right back in. You have no other choice. You're going to be an SEC
No.
kid.
You're coming.
Yeah, that's right. You don't get a choice. You're going to play SEC football. It's kind of a rite of passage. It feels right for him to be and I'm not a Texas fan, but I like Arch. I think he's a good kid. From what I can tell, he's a good kid, really talented kid. Now, anytime Georgia plays him, I want to beat him. Every time, anytime, every time. Same way with Tim Tebow. And I really like Tim Tebow, too.
Athletically, he plays a lot more like Granddad, and his dad was actually a receiver. Cooper was a receiver at Ole Miss.
Didn't he get hurt or something?
Spinal stenosis.
Okay.
He had a narrowing of the spinal column.
All right.
And so Arch Manning, when you see him get out and start running and you go, well, that's not like the other Mannings. It's like, well, that's because he's not playing the position like Peyton and Eli did.
Yeah.
Who couldn't move at all.
Dude, Peyton
could not move at all.
Stiff as a board. I mean, there's that whole, happy feet thing.
Eli'd be hilarious because you would scramble for like 3 yards and immediately get down. It's like, because he was smart.
Yes, that's right.
Time to get down.
That's right. Not everybody has that.
By the way, it was Lawrence Taylor, Jim Brown, and Dan Pastorini.
Jeez.
Wow.
Buddy.
Okay. It's pretty
there
good
was
company.
2 different times he went, and those were the guys he played with.
Was this Kimmer as a sports host like in Chicago when he was up there? I mean, I don't. If he didn't include it, you could just ask him or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't include it, but I'm trying to see.
That would have to be.
It doesn't say. He has a scorecard frame. He shot a 79, and there's $6 in there because he won it out of somebody's pocket.
There we go.
Okay.
Dude, Kimmer is badass.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how awesome that old Marine is.
Yeah, that dude. He's done some stuff.
Yeah,
he's a dude.
I love it.
And that's my greatest compliment.
Yeah.
You say, hey, that guy's a dude.
Yeah.
It's a dude.
And it's funny because you're right, is such a compliment. The other thing I heard Brian Snitker say one time was, that's a ball player. That's the greatest compliment you can give somebody. That's a ball player right there.
It's a radio host right there.
I don't think those equate necessarily, but yes, it's that same at least line I'm thinking. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. Let's get to the first thing to know this morning.
He tuned in to the morning show and said, give me the truth today. She poured her coffee, grabbed her phone, whispered, Lord, light up the way. They could hear the leftists talking. He said, this is my daily fight. If they take me to the office, they won't take my common sense alive.
No, sir.
There was the Morning Xtra at the dawn.
You can light a cigarette lighter. If you don't have one, you just turn on the flashlight on your iPhone and sway it back and forth during the first thing to know this morning.
The LED lights are going off in here.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you, extras.
Yeah, with that and the folks across the way that can set up the lights where they go crazy. What is it? Southern Lighting.
Yes.
They did the lights over at Truist Park and probably at every high school and college that you've been to lately because they do extremely good work. I want to read you something from Fauci's diary that he had dinner with Jake Tapper and his wife. Fauci said, Jake thinks Trump is nuts. You're trying to tell me that the media would cozy up to a bureaucrat and then take everything he said to the air without vetting the information. I can't believe that's true. CNN, there's no way you're telling me that would happen. And yet it did. From Fauci's own words, he's cozying up to the media because the media can't get enough of him. And he can't get enough of the media.
No, it was a lot of self-service, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
The time. I'm going to listen to you all say that I'm brilliant, and I'm going to make sure I give you the time.
That's right.
So that you will say that I am brilliant.
And continue to shield me from what I'm saying in public that makes no sense and the addition just don't work, to what I'm writing down in private that you don't even know, but you're going to defend me because you want to be the person in the spotlight. And little did Jake Tapper and any of those know that Fauci wanted to be in the spotlight more than any of them. That's why he used them the way he did. And the willing media, the lapdog media, either fell for it or were just fine with it, maybe both, giving that lone spotlight to Dr. Fauci that he so craved.
Well, considering what had happened in 2017, 2018, 2019, the economy was humming. And truly the only way to take Donald Trump down during that time period, because remember, the Democrats had cleared the field of any of their future stars. It was supposed to be Joe's going to get whooped. It's Joe's time. Let Joe get whooped. Really, it took a virus and it took Anthony Fauci. So when you wonder why were they cozying up to him in this way? It wasn't just that they wanted the access. It wasn't just that they wanted to buy into the deity aspect. They also looked at it as, this can end Trump. And to a certain extent, it did.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah. And then we learned that Dana Bash would email Dr. Fauci's quips to use anybody brave enough to question the sawed-off doctor. Same as the rest of the mainstream media. Martha Raddatz, Chuck Todd, Margaret Brennan. You can't tell me that democracy dies in the dark and then have a relationship like that in the dark and take it to the air as if it's, something extraordinary. You misled everybody, knowingly misled everybody, because you can't tell me you didn't know. You can't act like that you didn't have any questions about what's going on. You never questioned anything. None of the mainstream media ever had a question mark at the end of the sentence.
I brought up the tweet that I had from March 11, 2020, when I gave you what the South Korean data said as far as a fatality rate of 0.6%. And when we just say, like, what do you mean you weren't questioning? I was told when I had posted that, oh, hey, like there was a handful of, hey, thank you for that. We don't know what the rate is. Well, of course, because your primary person who's running point on this, who the president is putting forth in front of the country every afternoon for a press conference, is telling you 2%, 2.5%, not 0.3, 0.2, 0.6, even the number I had at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see where it's this issue that starts to build, where the more dangerous he makes it, the more deadly he makes it, the more fame that he's grabbing.
Which is a great point, because one of his entries said, had a great call with Barbara Streisand. She called my cell at 6:05. She recently had a lesion removed from her hip and buttock. The most random of things that people were telling Dr. Fauci, and he couldn't get enough of it.
Yes.
He loved that attention.
He was a sponge for all of their attention and the info that they wanted to pass to him. It's like a priest who basically hears confession and then wants to go tell everybody about what he learned.
She wanted to know if it was okay to get an mRNA vaccine. I told her yes. We then started discussing life in general. I told her I was working, listening to her songs on Alexa. She really didn't know what Alexa was. I accidentally butt called her later in the evening, and she said she was going to call me anyway, since she wanted to know if there was any difference between the Moderna and the Pfizer product. I told her none. Then she explained more, or then I explained more about Alexa, and we laughed. It was great. We loved it. Dude, how sick and twisted is that? That a man was so possessed by by pride, by arrogance, by attention. Do you think he's a guy that got beat up in high school? Do you think that there is a reason that you end up this way? Because there has to be something. Maybe it's because he's so short. I don't know.
There is a character flaw that causes somebody to become, I don't know, it's like, I want to say like drunk with power, but it goes beyond that.
Intoxicated with power, yes.
You become a sociopath.
Yes, but
you have to have that tendency already.
Give me the hugs, give me the kisses, give me the praise. Please lay flowers at my feet.
Like, consider, and I know that the correlation and the comparison don't always fit, but you always have people that will look back at it. What happened to Hitler, and how could he become one of the biggest mass murderers in history? And he was an art student. Yeah, okay, and that artwork never took off. Like, well, what happens if he had taken off as an art student? Do you think that maybe his life would have been different? Do you think that maybe his upbringing wouldn't have shown through and become so sour to him that he had to take it out on the rest of the world? I don't know. But it seems that something was part of creating this. That's right. This Anthony Fauci, that when the time came, in the interest of self-preservation and then self-explosion, he not only wanted to cover his own butt, but then he wanted to tell you how special the butt was.
That's right. But that holds. There's got to be something in childhood that we'll never know that causes somebody to be so intoxicated by attention, so drawn to attention. I mean, we do a radio show, and I don't know that we're nearly as drawn to attention as Dr. Fauci.
People bring it up, and I just kind of shy away from like, oh, yeah,
man, it's cool.
It's good.
It's good. Absolutely right.
I'm just not out there looking to
don't need
to blow this up.
I don't need the accolades. I mean, if they were to come, that'd be great. And if they don't, that's fine with me too. I just don't know that he felt that way at any point, because there was places in the diary where he talked about partnering with other people who could nominate him for awards, and some of them came with like $1 million cash prize. And he told the person that he had groomed to nominate him that he would take care of writing all the stuff that needed to be submitted. He was submitting himself for awards. That's
maybe the fact that he's 5'7" got to him.
I'm telling. That's what I'm saying. There's something there.
There's something there. that and we're told that this happens or can happen to everyone. I guess I just have a hard time squaring that he was telling the public one thing while writing the complete opposite privately, knowing that it was as dangerous, or at least you have to think, if not, he's a buffoon.
Yeah.
But he's America's top
most
doctor when it comes to this stuff. He's the world's most leading expert. So you're either evil, which I tend to lean more towards, or you're evil and you're a buffoon.
Napoleon syndrome, maybe. Could it be that? This is from the diary on January 26, 2020, roughly 2 months before the American public entered quarantine. Fauci wrote, "Now we know the market was not the source. It was the amplifier," talking about the Wuhan market, that he went and told everybody was the source of COVID-19, knowing. The whole time knowing. I don't understand that. I can't wrap my head around this, dude. I really can't wrap my head around this.
There's something strange. You made the comparison to a serial killer. There is something strange about someone who is doing something so diabolical, yet they kind of want you to know about it.
Yeah, well, it's like you're talking about when the serial killers look for their name in the newspaper.
Yes.
Or what they've done.
They want their crimes.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you do have people that have an MO. A modus operandi of like, how do they leave their signature so you know it's them?
Like the Wet Bandits.
Like Home Alone and the Wet Bandits. Yes, Tug. When it comes to the Wet Bandits, they steal from your house and then they turn on your faucets.
That's their MO, man. Remember Joe Pesci used to get pissed?
Early on, the Green River Killer used to stick rocks in places that they weren't supposed to, just to let you know that was him.
Like in a refrigerator or something?
No, on his victims.
Oh, God.
You were still thinking I was talking about.
I was like,
no, not in a refrigerator, Tug.
I was just thinking maybe.
Unless that's what you refer to as, like, let's say your bottom.
Yeah. Come check out the refrigerator.
But they would leave a signature. And it feels like when you read through these diary entries, and it's a lot of pages, it feels like he's telling you about his signature at times.
Yeah. Because he knew that this was no different than the flu. Because you went through the numbers earlier.
He had talked about it privately, 0.2. 0.3 is a fatality rate, but he was going on national television and telling you it was 2.5%, 2%, as high as 3%. All right, like that's a pretty serious issue. To think about it, I brought it up, and this was in February of 2022 at the Governor's Gun Club, and we have a YouTube video of it. Look it up. Like you can find it. There's a part where I get a chance to talk for 5 minutes, and one of the things I brought up was the fatality rate, and this was in 2022. And I said 0.3%. And I said it was significant because that means it's 3 times more deadly than the flu at 0.1%, but it's not a large threat to society. How am I talking about that in 2022 as we're just getting out of 2021, and yet this clown was doing what he was doing for the better part of 4 years?
Our friend who reaches out occasionally, Jeff Clark, at Real Jeff Clark, says Fauci is getting publicly eviscerated. He will not be looked kindly upon in the history books. And I hope you're right, Jeff. I don't know that you're right because it's being buried, with the exception, give Bari Weiss credit, they did on the CBS Evening News do a segment on it. I don't know that they'll do another, and none of the other mainstream outlets are doing it.
This is what I appreciate, and thank you for reaching out, Jeff. We're not going to get the pound of flesh.
Definitely not.
You know, as I've talked about my Merchant of Venice pound of flesh, I'm not going to get that. I do want the history to be correct. And it is in Jeff's mind. It is in my mind and Tug's. We've known this. We talk about this. It's how does the rest of the American public, without any media, because they're not going to cover this, how does the rest of the American public go, oh my God, this guy was really a monster? He was truly a monster.
I won't be satisfied.
Are people brave enough to even take a look at that and be like, wow, he was a monster?
I won't be satisfied until my Aunt Peg
acknowledges.
She needs to know. She needs to know, man. These people need to know.
Man, I still have.
You can't bury your head in the sand for your entire life.
I can go back into my ex profile and Tug, I'll do it during the break. I'll find people that were criticizing me for criticizing Anthony Fauci like he was some sort of hero. And I wonder to this day if they still consider him a hero.
We'll have to find out. We'll see. We'll see what history writes about Tony Fauci. And I hope it's just the truth. Just tell the truth about him, and I'll be satisfied. When we continue, if it happened in New Jersey, and now we're learning that it happened in Pennsylvania, the numbers of voter fraud are going to be astronomical next on Xtra.
Some things don't go out of style. Faith, family, and plain old common sense. And Xtra 106.3 still believes in that. Listen live or stream us anywhere on the Xtra 106.3 app.
Georgia is growing. That means more jobs and more economic opportunity. As we enhance electric grid to power this growth, we're working to minimize disruptions in your community. Our crews always put safety first. Please watch for them working alongside the road and move over if you're driving. We will make every effort to choose the least disruptive route for new power lines while balancing community and environmental impact, costs, and reliability. Watch your mailbox for letters or postcards from Georgia Power. We're proud to be here for Georgia and here for you.
Sponsored by Georgia Power. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? Think about everything your home's done for you over the years and where you've celebrated milestones, welcomed friends and family, built a lifetime of memories. Maybe your home has earned an upgrade. How about Jeff Shea and the team at Peach State Windows installing beautiful fiberglass French entry doors for just $69.85? Plus, how about a lifetime warranty and 0% financing for 12 months? 770-485-8011. PeachStateWindows.com. Peach State Windows. Your home has earned it.
Hey, this is Lowe's with Terry from Alpharetta, who just purchased a new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent, honest way to buy your next vehicle. Terry, tell us about your experience.
I have a son serving in the military. He's active duty with limited time to look for a car. My son was looking for a used Hyundai Veloster, and I had heard about the Honest Car Guy on the radio, decided that might be a route to go, and we made a phone call over the weekend. He screen shared the information with us. We looked over the vehicle, and he took the reins from there, and they were able to walk us through the process of buying the car. We're very clear and transparent, and next thing we knew, we had a car in the driveway.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org, helping warriors navigate to success after service.
This is House Call for Health. July 28th is World Hepatitis Day, an international global campaign to raise awareness about viral hepatitis. The disease is an inflammation of the liver that impairs the liver's ability to process nutrients, filter blood, and fight infections. The World Health Organization's theme for this year is Let's Break It Down. In 2024, 287 million people were living with chronic hepatitis B or C. In the same year, only 45% of babies received a vaccine for it, and 1.3 million people died of B and C that year. The organization has several key messages for this year. 1, leverage existing science and policies. 2, put people and communities at the center of hepatitis elimination. 3, ensure equitable access to hepatitis services for all. 4, integrate hepatitis services into universal health care. And 5, accelerate research and innovation. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Bullet points.
I'm Evan Brown. AR-15s might be legal again in another state. The U.S. Third Circuit Court of Appeals rules New Jersey's ban on semi-automatic rifles is unconstitutional. It's the first time a federal appeals court would say that a state ban on semi-auto rifles such as AR-15 style firearms fails to pass the test created by the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 Bruin decision, which mandates any gun control laws must be rooted in historic tradition. That New Jersey law also banned magazines holding more than 10 rounds. New Jersey's lawyers argued the state was acting lawfully, using the disputed definition of semi-auto rifles as being military style. The state's attorney general is weighing whether or not to appeal the third court's ruling to the Supreme Court. The High Court is already agreeing to hear similar cases from Connecticut and Illinois. And those are your bullet points. I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Tuesday, July 28th, and here are your headlines. Newly released diary entries from Dr. Anthony Fauci detail frequent communications with several prominent journalists during the COVID-19 pandemic. The entries released by Senator Rand Paul describe Fauci's interactions with CNN's Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, NBC's Chuck Todd, and ABC's George Stephanopoulos, including media strategy discussions as well as personal meetings. With 100 days left until the midterm elections, both parties continue to ramp up campaigns for control of Congress. Democrats need to gain 3 House seats and 4 Senate seats, with a new Washington Post poll showing Democrats holding a 3-point lead on the generic congressional ballot. And finally, gas prices continue to climb across the metro Atlanta area. AAA says the average price is now $3.92 a gallon, up 15 cents from last week. and more than 35 cents higher than what it was 1 month ago, with Fulton County topping the metro area at just over $4 a gallon on average. It'll be a partly cloudy day with a lot of hot and humid air, with a high of 94 and a low of 76. Xtra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Colbert.
Tug and Los on Xtra 106.3. We were just told that we've had some sort of influence on young Bryce and his listening taste.
He's been kissed by the sweet bird of youth, and now he's being kissed by our version of the sweet bird of youth back in the 90s.
1995, I remember seeing Better Than Ezra for the first time at 99X Big Day Out at Lakewood Amphitheater, and it was when Deluxe had come out, and then Good was kind of the hit at that point, because Deluxe came out, was that 93?
Deluxe was 93, and then Friction Baby, I think, is 95.
So Good had already been settled, and The Blood was already settled, and then Friction Baby comes out and Desperately Wanting, which was such a great song. Dude, they had so much. All the way through the early 2000s, I love the song Extraordinary, which was on a record called Closer. Man, you've got so much. That's the thing Los brings up, because he says this to me sometimes. I wish I had the opportunity to go back and watch those movies for the first time, of all the movies I've not seen, and there's quite a list. I understand what he says, because I say this to my son too. Dude, you've got so much music that you've never heard that'll be brand new. It can be 100 years old and it's still brand new to you.
So Friction Baby is actually named after Keith Richards was asked about working with Mick Jagger. It's like, how have y'all been productive for so long? Like, how have y'all made it work? And he just said, friction, baby.
Yeah, because they're not always on the same page.
We're gonna fight it out.
Dude, Oasis the same way. Think about the brothers that couldn't stand each other when they were recording What's the Story, Morning Glory, which was 1995. They were at each other's throats, and that's one of their
part of the creative process for them.
Absolutely,
like, I'm going to kill you.
There's so many bands like that. There's so many of them out there like that.
But I love that as an album name. It's like, okay, you're referring to the Rolling Stones, and how are you making this thing work? Because we're going to figure it out. Got to fight it out a bit.
Have you stumbled upon a song that you really like from Better Than Ezra, who Lo saw over the weekend?
Not yet. I told him during the break, I think it's Desperately Wanting.
Desperately Wanting.
That was one that I listened to, one of the first
Baby.
ones I listened to, and I really liked that one. But I haven't had enough time to listen to them to the point where I've gotten to listen to like multiple again.
Okay, you want the ultimate breakup song? Try Live Again. It's off of the How Does Your Garden Grow album.
98.
That's one of them that they'll play in concert, and he'll talk about getting out of your house, kind of getting back to normal.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's like at the time you don't feel great. I was like,
the last thing you want to do.
Whoa!
Yeah,
it's a really good song. But
Pierce your heart.
It's one of those that they only play here and there, and it definitely when you're doing like summer sets, that Live Again doesn't come up. they're not going to play that one during a summer set.
That's all right. But then the other bands that were on that bill, like I said, my cousin Nick was seeing this same concert that Los went to this past Saturday night down in St. Pete, Florida. And he's sending me all these videos, and he's like, these guys sound great. And it was Tonic and Better Than Ezra. And
Tonic
Vertical.
sounded phenomenal.
Yeah, Emerson Hart's so good. I'm such a fan of his work, even by himself, his solo stuff when he's away from Tonic. But the great band, and it was perfect for that kind of post-grunge. Still had an alternative rock kind of feel, but it wasn't grunge per se. And it opened the doors for so many bands to explore that. Maybe even you could probably include Matchbox 20 in there, because they started out as a relative alternative band and then became more mainstream popular, much like Maroon 5 did, like 20 years ago, which is crazy because that doesn't feel like they've been around that long. But yeah, there's some good stuff out there. I'm glad that you've latched on to a little bit.
Expanding my
your musical horizons.
Exactly.
You got to throw Tonic in the mix, though.
Oh, I wrote it down.
Yeah. If you could only see.
They got a lot of hits.
Huge record. Yeah, they do have a lot of hits. And the Lemon Parade, that first record was so stinking good, dude.
Yeah.
It is off the charts good.
They did bring that up while they were doing the show. I'm like, yeah, so this is the 30-something anniversary of Lemon Parade. And I'm like, oh, my God.
How could it be the case?
Yeah.
Now I know what my daddy was talking about when he was like, some of these songs make me feel old. Even though they're good, they make me feel old when I realize how old I was when they came out.
I was doing I'm at a concert with my wife and my 11-year-old daughter. Like, quite a bit different from the first or second or third time I saw this man.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. When I was stumbling and stammering around.
Yeah, when I was just chasing tail, figuring out where we're going to get another beer.
Yes, absolutely. And figuring out how you're going to pay for it.
Yeah,
That's the other thing.
Instead, I just had a cooler of seltzers next to me.
So good, dude. So much fun. So much fun. I love when they do the 90s bands, and they'll have 3 or 4 or 5 of them. And they do it on the 90s hip-hop side, too, where they'll have a bunch of bands that had 1 or 2 hits, and they'll just go out and play their 1 or 2 hits and then roll off, and somebody else jumps on. My wife and her girlfriends have done that before, where they go see the hip-hop acts that do that. Salt and Pepper and Coolio, God rest his soul. The last time they went, Coolio was still with us. But
that's after Hot Ones.
Yeah, right.
He did Hot Ones and he passed away.
That's terrible, man. I hate that for him.
Can't believe it.
They did it. It's all their fault.
Well, Coolio was getting ready to do a documentary on all. See, this is the joke I keep going and running into. Every single time somebody passes away, immediately it's, they were just getting ready to do a documentary about the exploitation of children in Hollywood.
Oh, my gosh. Most recently it was Chris Cornell and the singer for Linkin Park. His name escapes me right in a second. But that was the rumor about them too. Chester Bennington.
It's always a rumor.
Yeah, but
they were just getting ready.
It's crazy.
It was almost about to come out.
It pops up every time. And so I told my buddy the other day. Remember, I told you my friend has just been lured down the path of crazy conspiracy theories. And he's like, "You can't tell me I don't believe any of these." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can. Yes, I can. I don't believe any of it."
Let me be very clear. There will never be a point where I will get in a hot air balloon. Will ever do any kind of bungee cord jumping off of any bridge, especially one in a third world country. I will not jump out of a perfectly good airplane with a parachute or otherwise. I will also not release or be close to releasing a documentary
about exploitation,
about child sex exploitation in Hollywood or anything along those lines when it comes to pedophiles.
And it's crazy because Tim Tebow actually has done those. Where he's chasing people around the globe, and they're putting together this information because that's near and dear to his heart. It's not that he talked about it. It's not that he did it right before he died. No, he's doing it now because that's what he wants to do. He cares about what's happening.
Better watch his Tebow butt.
No kidding. That's just no kidding. They'll come after him for sure. Then there will be a conspiracy theory.
That's right.
About how Tim Tebow turned up. Yeah, we'll see. Good music out there. 404-741-1230.
And by the way, every now and then when there's a butler who ends up drowning in a lake behind a former president's house, I'm like, nothing to see there either.
Oh, definitely not. Sure, it's
so we
just
get into
fine.
all the conspiracy
Just coincidence.
I'm sure it's just fine.
Can't believe the Clintons have this many dead friends.
Why is it always connected to them? How can you always draw the line back to them?
So strange.
We don't believe in all of them.
But they are fun to joke about.
But they are fun to joke about. That's exactly right. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. We've talked about the numbers for New Jersey, and that was how many people were purged from the voter rolls because they were voting illegally. They admitted to 6,600. Some say way more than that, but we're going to use the modest number. In Pennsylvania, they just did a voter purge. Republicans gained 7,000 voters. Democrats lost over 64,000 voters, bringing the statewide Democrat lead over Republicans to 56,000. That was per data released by the state itself. Now, if you do that for every state, you'll understand why the SAVE Act is so important. It's got to be passed. How are you going to keep America's elections honest? How are you going to convince people that when they vote, their vote counts, and there's not 50,000, people that don't belong here to just discount what they just did?
I feel gross about saying this, but it's true. There will always be cheating in American elections.
Right. No, and I believe that on both sides.
It's just a matter of, can we just deal with the simplest element of cheating, which is, I can't prove who I am, but I get to vote. Let me just start right there. That's a simple one. I mean,
there's a reason James Carville has yielded that.
He has basically pointed out 75% of the country wants to have some sort of ID proof in order to vote.
Why are we taking it on the chin over something that's a 80-20 issue, essentially?
It's an 80-20.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not talking about fixing computer systems. I'm not.
Although that should be done too.
Although that'll be nice. I'm not pushing some sort of agenda where I go, this is going to be so complicated, but it's so worth it. No, let's just start with something simple, which is if you're allowed to vote, well, okay, let's cross-reference who is allowed to vote based on legal standing, and you prove that you're that person, you get to vote.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
No different than if you were to go, I don't know, open a account to have internet at Xfinity, since we're here in the Battery and Xfinity has a presence. Guess what? The first thing they're going to ask you are? They're going to ask you for your ID to prove you are who you say you are. If they do it for opening cable or internet, you don't think they should maybe do that for voting? And there's people willing to say no. No, I don't think they should. That's insane. What's 25%, I guess?
I mean, we joked last week about how Olive Garden had instituted a policy.
They did.
If you want never ending, well, then you got to show ID.
You got to show your ID at the freaking Olive Garden.
I got to show who I am. See, here's the issue that I have. When you look around the country, for instance, in the state of Georgia, do we have people that can partake in an election with a mail-in ballot? Not since 2020. You have to have, obviously, certain scenarios in which case you can, but a majority of the voters are going to vote in person. That's why we've extended the dates. That's why Jim Crow 2.0 occurred. It's so you allow more, and so typically about 55% of registered voters take part in our elections. That's a big number when it comes to a presidential election. Well, let's look over at the state of Washington. Washington, when it comes to their presidential election, they had 84% of eligible voters took part in it. In 2024, it was nearly 79% of registered voters. Do you know why? Because they allow mail-in balloting.
Giant surprise.
It's all mail-in balloting. So my entire point is, if we want to say, all right, let's prove who you are. Also, you got to show up in person to vote, man.
And maybe let's narrow it to a day, not a month.
This is not a difficult process. We're not asked. I'm not telling you that you have to update all of your systems. That'd be great. That's a long-term goal.
We need to do it.
Here's the law. Here's the way it should be. You have to show up to vote, and you have to show ID.
Pretty simple. And the rest of the country agrees with you.
The state of Washington had 84% of registered voters vote in 2020. Do you realize how outside the norm that is?
What's the usual number? Like 56%? Is it even that much?
I'll give you this. In a general election that they had in 2025, 39%.
See?
You see how statistically wild that is?
The math don't math.
All right. Now, I get it. When it comes like runoffs, those are different. You're going to have a lower percentage. That's how it's going to go. For sure. But we had, and we can go through it, our elections that we have had so far this year, if you're just talking about here's our primary elections, we have a pretty good idea that it's going to be decided by about 700,000 voters. If it goes to a runoff, it's going to drop. But we know it's about 700,000 voters. The state of Washington only seems to get interested in voting when it comes to presidential elections, and it's all done by mail-in balloting, at least mostly.
So probably nothing shady going on.
So rather than 50% of your state is taking part in this, no.
Yeah, 80.
Almost 9 out of 10 registered voters are taking part in elections in the state of Washington. Come on, man. Come on, that's just statistically impossible.
We'll wrap up the Morning Xtra next. The money spent is worth it. Tug and Los until 10.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Tuesday, July 28th. The Atlanta Braves dropped the opening game of their 3-game series in New York to the Mets last night. 14-3, the final. Some good news, Ronald Acuna Jr. did have a hit in his return to the lineup from the injured list. As for tonight, it'll be Chris Sale on the mound against Christian Scott. First pitch is set for 7:10. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and for free on the Fan app. Atlanta Falcons training camp begins today as the veterans will report to the team. The rookies reported to Flowery Branch last week. Full practices open to the public will begin this Friday. Around the league, Tampa Bay Buccaneer defensive tackle Vita Vea is requesting a trade from the team after contract talks stalled over the weekend for the 2-time Pro Bowler. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
It's Toyota's Big One sales event at Marietta Toyota now through August 3rd. And if you commute every day, the 2026 Toyota Camry may be the one to see first. It's now all hybrid with up to 53 miles per gallon city, an easy way to cut fuel stops without giving up comfort. And with 50 Camrys in stock, Marietta Toyota has the selection to help you find the trim and color you actually want. Every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, limited time, and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we've been voted Best of Cobb for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. For well-qualified buyers, special financing is available on the new 2026 Camry Hybrid, as low as 4.99% APR for 48 months through August 3rd. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
4.99% APR for 48 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers qualify. Offer ends 8/3/2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, and title, and include $699 dock fee and $257 electronic tag fee.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Now on to the bonus round. On average, what's the biggest purchase you'll make in your lifetime?
My house.
My car? Nope. Jane?
My husband's golf habit.
Close, but no. Think bigger. It's your retirement. Think of all the effort and research you put into buying a car or your home. And while these are important purchases, the cost doesn't come close to a 25-year retirement. You're literally buying a lifestyle. So what kind of lifestyle do you want? Evan Ward and his team at Atlas Retirement help clients plan for retirement based on their individual goals. Whether it's an Alaskan cruise or taking the grandkids out for snow cones, a trip to Europe, or a trip across town, the team at Atlas Retirement can tailor your retirement to the lifestyle you've always wanted. Call 678-252-5224 or atlasretirement.net.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Tug and Los start your day the right way on the Morning Xtra.
Get this. Cousin Brittany just texted me and said, I had to scan my ID to change my Yahoo password the other day. Oh, my Lord. That seems like that actually seems like a bit of an overreach.
I'd feel weird about that one, Brittany.
Yeah. Are you sure you're logged into the right website?
Brittany, were you looking into adult content?
That's right. What are you providing ID for?
Because there's certain states now that require legal ID. That's why I don't go to those.
That's exactly right. I'm not doing it anymore.
You've taught me the error of my ways.
That's right. I'm out.
The Morning Xtra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. There are those times that you just know. Like, this is going to be way in the opposite direction. Like, it took me forever to finally put down the money for the Sonos system that I have at my house.
Sonos is awesome.
It's so great. I love it. It's the only thing I've really ever splurged on in my whole life, but I use it every day. I mean, every day. It's one of those things where my wife finally, she's like, just do it. You've been talking about it for a year. Just do it. And she was right. The money I spent was worth it, Los.
I think the coolest thing that I have in my house that ever came from a Tug suggestion is the Sonos speaker.
Oh, man.
Like, there's been other things where Tug is like, oh, you should try this or give this a shot. And it's because I view you as very level-headed, and it has to be quality for you to like it and really to endorse it. Man, that is the coolest thing that Tug ever told me, and I'm like, just spot on correct.
Sound quality's so good. It just jumps, like the music jumps out at you almost, or it feels like
That's how I get through the painting.
That's why you
should play the same song throughout the entire house. If you
that part's cool too. Yeah,
I fire up the Sonos speaker, and that's where I'm playing my content through. And it's just as Tug is saying, it is the way I get through that afternoon of being down there painting, getting paint all over myself. I'm like, cool, I got my music, I got my Sonos speaker.
Worth the money you spend. And I think there's probably a lot of things in life that is worth the money you spend. So, Hey, if you're looking at if you're looking at making sure that your money goes the furthest, Los, what is it that you're spending money on that you feel like is worth it?
Whew. Well, I guess
other than Sonos. I mean,
other than Sonos,
yeah, your kids and
I got new tires.
There you go. But
that
that's
was fun.
cool. Tires fine.
There was a post from the Babylon Bee, and I enjoy all their sarcasm, their political sarcasm,
even when it's pointed
at me. And there's a funny picture, and it's a young man, thumbs up, baseball uniform, and it just says $200,000 spent on travel ball finally pays off with son's $500 college scholarship.
That's right.
First off, that's hilarious,
dude. And you don't know how close it hits to home for me.
Second, because the NCAA, it's at least during my day, I think they've expanded by one, but you had a 25-man travel roster, and you had 11 2/3 scholarships. That was a full scholarship load. So you had some people that were getting significantly more money, typically pitchers. If you were a position player, you might be books and meal plan. You might be dorm and some classes. It wasn't going to be the crazy amount. It's just kind of how it was.
But it sounds good on paper. We got some scholarship. We got a scholarship.
Got a scholarship, though. It's like, got a scholarship. Got a couple $1,000s here.
For us down at Charleston, it was a $10,000 scholarship, and it cost $50 to go to school there. So you start seeing how
like, the other 40.
I'm cutting checks.
I'm responsible for this portion of this.
That's right.
But here's the reason why I say if you're spending money on it, it's worth it. It's worth it to you, first off, if you get some enjoyment out of it. And for me, when it comes to that travel volleyball, I love it because it's an opportunity for me and my daughter, and we talk about so many different things about it. And this year, now that she's on a high school team that I think is going to contend for a state title, and I asked her how she felt about it. I was like, how do you feel about all this? She's like, I'm ready.
I love that answer. That's the best answer.
It's the best answer because she went through a travel season where she played up. She played with older players, and she was like, I can play.
Not intimidated.
Yeah, not intimidating at all. In fact, she's like, I'm around a bunch of really good girls. She's like, I can do this. And I think that's the confidence. Now, you can say, well, what is that supposed to cost you? Well, I don't know. Yeah. How confident is your kid, or what's the lack of confidence?
But put a dollar sign on that. How do you put a dollar sign on that?
How do you end up figuring that out? Now, I read the book from years ago, Playing to Win, and it is interesting to see that the collegiate athlete, especially when it comes to girls, their easiest way into school is by being an athlete. So, like, we know parents where their children have been playing volleyball for a decade, and then they switch to rowing their senior year. And these massive schools, SEC, ACC, Big Ten, are all giving them full rides to come row. Because they're like, you're already the kind of athlete we're looking for. Here's what we're going to do. And their admission process is significantly easier than anyone else that they're compared to. You take a random girl or a random student and compare them to an athlete. The athlete gets preferential treatment. I think the number is like 73% more chance that they'll get into the university versus somebody who is not an athlete. It's the new way in. And so, yes, the Babylon Bee makes a very funny point. Like the $200,000 for the $500 scholarship.
That's right.
It's just that there's some other ends to this that don't work for comedy's sake, but I read it and I go,
hysterical. So funny.
Yet I do look at the other end too and say, if you can handle it and you're not sweating about it, well, and you believe it's worth it, then it's worth it.
The lived experience, man.
Sure.
It is so valuable. And those memories that your daughter will have for the rest of her life that y'all will be able to reminisce about when she has her own kids playing volleyball one day. If that's the way it all plays out. And who knows how it'll all play out. But those lived experiences for you and her are irreplaceable. There's not a dollar sign you can put on that.
I hadn't told you about this because I just saw it the other day. So there is an ad that's currently running on Facebook, and it's for my daughter's club. And it just talks about, here's the age groups, here's tryout, here's where they're located at. And it's pretty well-made ad.
Mm-hmm.
It finishes with her team on the podium after playing for the national championship at AAU.
So cool.
And I'm like, That's cool.
So cool.
I was like, that's y'all putting them on the map and doing something big.
And you know what's crazy is most people will see that and not realize it, right? Because they don't know. They don't know. Most people don't know your daughter.
Yeah.
When she sees that ad,
she's going to be like, we did that.
We did that.
Yeah.
No one can ever take that away from her. I don't care how much money you spend. If the kids enjoy it and you're not making them go, and I've seen people pay for things that their kids don't want to do, and then they make them do it.
Big distinction in the two.
That's horrible. That's no good.
Yeah, if you're the one who's you're the taskmaster.
You're the driving force.
Yes, you're making them do it. I get it. Like, there's going to be the argument that, well, I know what's best for them. Yeah, but at a certain point, when they start doing stuff that they like, I think that's where the payoff is. That's where the jump where they can't wait to go do it again, whatever it is.
When they can drive themselves there, and they still do. It's not because you drove them there and they had to. That's the difference, for sure. I think it's so valuable. I think anybody that comes down on travel sports, look, is part of it a racket? Sure, it is.
Okay, yeah.
Give me something.
I've seen that.
Give me something in life that's not, though. Give me something in life that's not a racket at this point these days. You know, it doesn't matter if it's band. I've seen parents spend money on band trips, to go to D.C. or go to California or be in the Rose Parade. Dude, that costs money. There's real money in that.
Still pretty cool experience if you can.
Incredible experience for those kids. And I hope you do them every time. It doesn't matter if your kid plays at the highest level or they're just out there and they love it and they're like middle of the road and they're not going to go play college. It doesn't matter. The memories that they will make and that you will share with them are so valuable. Jacob still tells me to this day about winning, the USSSA World Series in Orange Beach, Alabama. We did it, and then we were out there celebrating. We celebrated so long in the parking lot, all the lights went off. And so all the parents cranked their cars, and we just had headlights, and we were still tailgating out there. He'll never forget that.
We've got a friend of ours that my daughter played with last year, and her mom sent us a text message last night about her making the team that she wanted to make. And we were all like, yeah!
Let's go.
Like, it was a celebration because of what these girls accomplished that I don't care how old they get. I'll be following that group of girls and being like, pulling for you all the time. What are you involved in? How can we support you?
It's funny you say that. Jacob's buds who are getting drafted, some of them that are playing at Georgia Tech, some of them are playing at other big universities, Florida. Now I keep up with all those kids. And I know all their parents. And when they get drafted or they end up, as the starting running back at Georgia Tech, like Justice Haynes is going to be, shooting those guys a note. And then it's great. Andrew Groover says, hey, man, and we were down at Georgia Tech. Justice sends his best. Oh, that's awesome, dude, because I've seen this kid play since he was 8 years old. Now, he's got quite a pedigree. His dad won a Super Bowl.
It kind of helps.
But it doesn't matter.
The DNA is helpful.
Exactly, for sure. But it doesn't matter because I've been watching that kid before anybody knew that his dad won a Super Bowl.
I saw a post the other day I thought was really cute, and it was some friends of ours that we had played ball with, and they have a son who's a senior. He's actually... He's played varsity ball for years, but he's also going to camps as like a snapper, like a long snapper, which is crazy that there's camps around the country because it's such a specific.
Yeah, I don't know, but there are plenty of them out there.
But people are like, we got to get these snappers in here. If you can't snap, you can't score, you can't punt.
That's right.
Well, he has his mom posted, and it's a series of pictures. It's when they were 8. When they were 12, and now as seniors, and it's still the same 4 kids.
That's great.
It's like, looks so cool.
Nothing better than that. Those memories are worth it.
So, yes, Babylon Bee, you are correct.
And funny.
And funny. At the same time, I'm like, there is something else there that I think we can celebrate. Even if you are spending I spent $50,000, but we got a $5,000 scholarship.
That's right. Exactly.
Yes, the math doesn't math, but it's the other stuff.
It doesn't matter, man. There's so much more to it. That'll do it for us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving America the way we do. Thank you for loving the state of Georgia the way we do. Hope you'll stick around for Beck, then Clay and Buck, and then the local afternoon show with the Kimmer.
Oh, my God.
Pete and Flounder. Oh, my God. For Los and Bryce, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
more than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Extra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
He's at the Capitol one last time. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but this time, late Senator Lindsey Graham arrived in a hearse.
Ready, step.
And just minutes ago, a military honor guard carried his casket draped with an American flag up the 34 steps into the U.S. Capitol.
He was a great politician and a great gentleman.
That's what President Trump tells Fox and Friends, and he'll speak at Graham's funeral this afternoon at Washington's National Cathedral. Ahead of right now is a ceremony in Washington honoring Graham at the Capitol. Two world leaders will also attend Graham's funeral later today. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu both meet with President Trump this morning. First, Zelensky right now.
After Ukraine launched attacks on Iranian shipping in the Caspian Sea, both wars feel closer together, with the U.S. and Ukraine having launched attacks against a common enemy, Iran. Ukraine said the ship was carrying military equipment between Iran and Russia.
No, that's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the White House.
We all remember the contentious Oval Office meeting last year. President Trump telling Zelensky you don't have the cards